All right, we're live. Finally, we're actually here. I appreciate everyone who waited. I appreciate you guys seriously for sticking around. And if I would have more time, I could have given one of you guys the mojo to be able to just go live on here. But it was I literally headsets on, text message. Oh, crap, load it up. Uh oh.
Well, somebody's got a browser open.
That was me. I was typing it. That was the one I used to type to tell you guys that I had to go. Forgot it had it open in the background.
Oh
That
goodness.
was you can see the look on my eyes, like, oh fuck, where is it at?
Yeah, I seen you panicking.
And if you know anything about me, you'll know that I have 100 different windows open at one time, so it could be any one of them. That was the panic look.
Right, right. I oh, someone still got an echo.
Hopefully it's not me. I am shut down now.
Weird.
I don't have anything open. Oh yeah, there's definitely an echo.
I don't hear it. That's not good. Is there an echo when I talk?
No.
No, I think it's just when I'm talking. It might be this microphone. Hang on.
Jared, what is up, brother? Appreciate you hanging out, waiting for us here.
So I got stuck in the snow the other night too.
Yeah?
I don't have the front end on my car anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I was going to look at a car, which we can discuss that if you'd like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I got the Charger out there, and I'm looking at this guy's driveway. I'm like, that's not a kept driveway, but it looks reasonably okay for the car to make it up there. So I'm like, okay, well, I got all-wheel drive. Let's go for it. So I start headed up the driveway, and the first bit of it was fine. It was fairly shallow, but then what I didn't notice is I was starting to, as I got closer to the house, it got deeper, but it
Oh,
was also hard packed. So the car was staying up on top of it, and then all of a sudden I lost enough speed that it just went dunk and
oh, it fell through.
fell
Oh
through.
no.
So then the tow truck came and got me and hooked onto the back of the car, and when he's
Ripped
pulling it
it.
out, the front end scooped up all the snow and just
Yep,
off the thing.
pops it right off. Shoot, that sucks, bud.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, this one
Yeah.
was he wasn't well. He was stuck in the snow, but he blew a belt in about 2 feet of snow. So my rig is in two-wheel drive only mode because I'm having drive shaft issues again. So we hooked up the trailer on the truck, drove as far up the road we could until the road stops being nice, and then took the rig the rest of the way. Towed her down and threw her on the trailer. It's just sitting out there. I'm like, we'll fix that tomorrow. I'm not even taking it off the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can sit on the trailer in shame for the evening.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
that's how it goes. I've had him come save me multiple times on the road, multiple times of like, come save my passengers because it's gonna take me an hour to get home, or bring me. It was an air compressor the last time I needed a air compressor. I was like, bring me the air compressor, will you? And he runs it out to me. So
Well, that was like with me with looking at this car. I had my son with me, and I'm like, all right, hey, we're just gonna go quickly look at this car and come back. It wasn't quick.
oh no, I bet it wasn't. Yeah.
No, because he was out in the middle of nowheres. Like he's in this acreage, literally, like more remote than I am, even.
Oh wow.
And he's like, yeah, there's like no one around at all. So I think we were out there for 4 hours, 5 hours before we finally got out. And I did buy make a deal on the car though.
So you did get the car even then. Don't want to waste a trip. I mean,
No,
That's the important
yeah,
part.
yeah, I know.
Hey,
well,
Monroe, that echo might be you.
is it me?
Yeah, I think it might be you because I had myself on mute. Just see, I could still hear echo.
Really?
Yeah, and I can't hear it at all. So
That's weird because I don't have any other windows open.
Fox, how's it going, brother? Well, here's. Can you hear yourself on the echo, Jim?
Yeah, I can hear myself, and I can hear Monroe's echoing.
Okay, try it now that I muted him. Do you hear yourself echoing now?
Let me see. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, then it's not Mongrels because I have him
Hmm.
muted.
Well, there must be you because I had myself muted. Let's see. Yeah, it's you. It's you.
It's definitely him. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no echo when you muted yourself.
Yeah. So that's fine.
That's
we don't need to listen.
unfortunate.
We don't need to listen to Wasted. You and I can talk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So do you hear the echo right now if I turn my stuff off right like this?
There is no echo.
No echo.
No echo.
But now there is an echo.
Not from
Let me
you.
see. There's
I'm
a
not hearing
slight.
you now. Oh,
Yeah,
there
there's
it is.
echo.
There it
Yeah.
is. Echo.
That's kind of strange.
Well, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to try and figure this audio issue out.
You got your headphones up all the way. It's picking up sound from your headphones.
So yeah, I did make a deal on the car. It's just something I've been kind of wanting for a while. It's a 1980 Monte Carlo.
Oh, nice.
So I got myself a G body. Yeah, technically 80's not a G body yet, but it's still a G body.
Yeah, nice. I picked up a car this past week as well.
Did you?
Well, a truck. I picked up a 63 Chevy Panel.
Nice.
Well, it could be really interesting. The guy told me that it came from California, and there's a famous bakery out there called Helm's Bakery, and apparently it was one of their trucks. That's what he says, anyways. And so they're apparently very well known on the West Coast. So I'm looking forward to getting it here and seeing if underneath the primer I'm going to find yellow Helm's Bakery paint.
Did the echo come back when I came back?
Yeah. Yeah, sure did.
I am not having a night, boys.
Yeah. You sure you don't have another browser open somewhere?
Oh, I'm positive. Let me
I'm not hearing much of it right now, but
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but I don't know if anybody else hears it.
well, let us know in the chat if see, I hear something though. Let me try this.
I heard boop boop boop.
Yeah, I heard that too, but don't hear an echo.
I think he's rebooting.
Yeah, perhaps. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that thing here. I'm picking it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's got no front clip, no engine, no transmission. Well, it does have an engine that's kind of sitting on the frame rails. It's a old straight 6. So still hear an echo, but
listen, they're telling me I don't hear an echo in the chat, so now I just think you guys are messing with me. So I mean, I don't know. Giving me a freaking complex of it. I hear something in my headset. Something's not right.
Would we do this to you? Would we do that to you? We wouldn't do that.
Yes, you 100% would, but I don't know that you thought about it this time.
Well, Fox says it's fine.
Hey, if Fox says it's fine, it's fine.
Fine. Oh man. So yeah, it's been a week. I've done a bunch of live streams this week, dicking around in the garage, which has been kind of fun. Yeah, I've been turning the computer, or not the computer. I've been trying. Well, so this comes into some of the things I kind of want to talk about. I've been turning the phone on because that's the easiest way for me to film and get like a good solid tripod mount like view of the room while I'm doing my thing. Right. The computer, if you want to just go live, not through StreamYard, won't let you use like my Canon camera that I'm using right now. It won't let me use that. It makes me use the one on the computer, and the one on my computer sucks. Yeah, I didn't know. It's not like StreamYard where you can pick. Like right now, I've picked what I wanted to do. So
Yeah.
That's been unfortunate because my quality on my phone is somewhere around the level of potato.
Okay.
You you might need to maybe set one of your cameras as a default. It's probably defaulting to the built-in camera. You might be able to
Well,
default.
so it gives you a drop down when you go live on YouTube by itself, and when you go into the drop down menu, it won't pull up the secondary softwares that you need to run, like the EOS or what is it for whatever the GoPro stuff is.
Yeah, so
I've
it's not.
been
It doesn't act like a regular. Doesn't act like
it
a
does,
regular USB camera.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. I haven't tried it with an actual USB camera, like a webcam plug-in. I could try that next, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm using. I got I changed my video setup a little bit tonight. I've got a Logitech Brio camera sitting on top of a Telesin face tracking camera. Check this out.
What?
Yeah, isn't that cool?
So is it moving the base is moving the whole camera?
Well, so it's a webcam itself,
Yeah.
but the Logitech's camera is so much better that I'm not using the camera that's built in. So, but you turn it on and it automatically finds the face,
Yeah.
you know, and then it just the whole camera moves. And so
That's
the Logitech is mounted to the top of the Telesin camera. It's
yeah.
a $50 item from Amazon, but it's pretty nice, and it just kind of.
I just use my laptop, and I have enough trouble trying to get that to work. So
See, the problem I have with this one is going to be that if you watch any of my lives when I work in the garage, I just walk around a lot. I get lost a lot. I ask everyone where I put the thing I just had in my hand a lot, and I just feel like it's gonna be. Yeah, I was gonna say it's just gonna be this thing tracking me around the garage the whole time, and everyone's gonna be all seasick and shit. Like, oh god, just hold still.
This thing can do 360 degrees, so it can go
yeah,
all the way around. It's really cool.
That's cool. Tim Windsor in the house, brother. How are you? How was your Saturday night? Yeah, how's your Saturday night?
Saturday Night Live.
Well, it's Saturday Night Chat. We're on Conversation Street here tonight.
Conversation Street. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is that
we
what we're calling this?
No, I can't call it that because I stole that from Top. No, it wasn't Top Gear. Grand Tour. That's
Grand
where I stole
Tour,
that
yeah.
from. Yeah.
Is it
Speaking of your
Corner?
welding live streams,
Yeah.
what is a good self-darkening welding helmet?
Well, I mean, the problem is, you say good, and that brings everyone's opinions into it. I'm Team Blue. I like the Miller. I'm sure there's 100 different people that'll tell you 100 different things about helmets. And what you got to kind of figure out what's good for you. I like the Miller I have because it has a really wide viewing area, which I kind of dig about that. And then the way the headpiece mount, like it's got a back grip that's not just like the singular like piece like this. It's almost like somebody's palm on the back of your head that really spreads it out. A mongrel saw my hood I had. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's the nice Miller one, the top end one a couple years ago. So who knows? I'm sure they make a better one now.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey Ryan, how's it going, brother? Setups for live. So I found out that you can't do a live with your GoPro if it's any newer, older than a 9, 9, 10s, and 11s. I think are the only ones you can do lives with through their software.
That tech's way beyond me. If it's not my phone or my computer, I'm lost.
Well, I've been trying to figure it out.
You're lucky I managed to make it onto the StreamYard.
I know. I was stoked you guys were here when I finally got up in here. You guys were backstage. I was like, oh sweet, I'm not going to be by myself. Those are always I don't mind doing it when I'm in the garage working on something. People in the chat because you just do it. But I find in these where there's nothing to do with my hands, and then I'm supposed to talk to the chat. I just feel silly by myself.
Fair enough. You don't do the Mr. Smithers thing, eh?
I probably would be just fine, but Shell, how are you? Appreciate you coming in. Rich, there he is. Rich been there all week, giving me pointers and whatnot through there. It's coming together. Those welds are strong. They may not be pretty, but they're strong.
That's what counts.
Yeah. We
What
ended
would
up
you say?
getting.
They're pretty strong.
Uh, yeah.
So they are pretty.
You know what they say: a grinder and paint make the welder you ain't.
Yep. That is exactly how we get it there. So I'm waiting on what is this copper and zinc weld through primer is what I'm waiting on because I couldn't pick it up anywhere in town.
Really?
Nope, no one had weld through primer in this town. I went to CarQuest Advance, Air Gas, Fabrication Shop. The only thing I could find at a couple different places was the zinc galvanized coating in a can stuff. And they're like, "Well, we got this," and I'm like, "I don't want to weld on that. That's
No, no.
not. You can use that, but you don't want to weld and be breathing in any of that."
Yeah, I mentioned in one of your live streams you were talking about galvanizing. We got a friend of mine who
Yeah.
he's a Chevelle wagon nut, specifically 1970 Chevelle wagon nut. He has several of them, including a pretty cool tub one. But he did one where he took the frame and brought it to a place, and they dipped it and galvanized the thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's never going to rust.
Yep.
At the same time, he was like, "Yeah, I need a few more pounds. You got anything?" I was like, "I don't take this Coke cooler and galvanize that." They galvanized it. It still haven't painted it. It's still just raw galvanized
Yeah.
Coke cooler, but it's pretty cool.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of these days,
Yeah.
I'll drag some internet down to my shop, and
Yeah, so that's the other issue we have at the dungeon is that there isn't actually internet in the dungeon. We Wi-Fi and then extender into the dungeon.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would have to do. But I've got a. When the previous owner built the place, he strung fiber from the house to the
Mm.
shop, which is a big
That's
long
awesome.
distance. But
Yeah.
I can put some fiber transceivers on it, turn it to Ethernet. So
I'm gonna say so you have fiber optic from the house to the garage, but no internet to the house.
yeah, I'm not really sure what he was doing with it. I really don't know. Yeah, because he didn't have anything here.
I wonder if he was just planning on getting internet there at some point. I guess he just was like, "Well, we're here. We might as well run it." I guess I don't. At that point,
Maybe,
why
yeah.
would you would run the fiber optic down to the road at that point if you're going to run fiber optic everywhere, right?
Yeah, you'd think, but yeah, there's nothing at the road either. So got to run a long way to get to the road. But
Metal fume fever. Drink a quart of milk. Ask me how I know. Holy shit!
doesn't sound like fun.
I will keep that in mind. And listen, more wire makes it stronger, right, Fox?
It does. It does indeed.
They're saying up here because they say buy stock in the wire company because I put a lot of wire into my welds apparently. Dude says the same thing too.
Well, you certainly didn't spare it when you were making the engine mounts for the Volvo.
They haven't failed yet.
No, they haven't. They're pretty solid.
I
Maybe the exhaust was you were a little more
wait,
conservative with it on the
wait.
exhaust.
Yeah, well, you have to be in the exhaust because
Yeah,
burn through is real
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Well, and that was a lot of tack, tack, tack. I don't know. I'm working on it.
That's all good.
apparently,
You do better than I do, so
apparently, I need to get some stock in here. Yeah, I've always heard that, and I've just stayed away from galvanized.
yeah,
That's
I
why
do
when
the same.
I was at Coastal Ranch and Supply or Farm Supply. You ever heard of them before?
Yep, yep.
So they had in the welding section right next to it this can of galvanized. It was galvanized coating and like butane for like your soldering iron or whatever. and next to all the welding stuff. So I was like, huh, this must mean it's for welding. So I grabbed a can. It was cheap. And then after getting it home and reading it, I'm like, galvanized zinc. I'm like, zinc's not terrible. And I'm like, I did some more research. I was like, yeah, I'm not using this.
Well,
This has got bad idea written all over it.
I always use the zinc weld through primer is what I always picked up.
Well, and that's actually called weld through primer because I found out that's the difference. There's a difference between hot galvanizing and zinc coating because it says zinc coating right on it,
Yeah.
and then weld through primer zinc coating, and the difference is the temperature. I found out you'll melt off the galvanizing at a certain one, whereas the weld through is designed to not. I guess I don't know. Either way, I ordered some from Amazon. It'll be here next week. So that's why last night I got Gary to come down and help me turn the frame around so that I could do the other side. Because I can do the inside of all the gussets, and then I can spray everything and put the last plate on and seal them up and not.
So you're designing that to put an LS in it, right?
I'm not. Listen. They do not want for power. You know how those little 3-cylinder Can-Am motors are.
It doesn't matter. You still need an LS in there. Come on.
You don't. The weight is like today. I would go in to get this. I'm 2-wheel drive, like I was saying, and what we lacked in 4-wheel spinning, I made up for in just 2-wheel spinning really, really fast.
Oh, okay. That'll work.
My rear grounds. At one point, I looked down and we were doing like 45, 50 miles an hour wheel speed, and we weren't really moving. And she's just screaming on the chip. And would you like to guess how much of that recovery I filmed?
None.
Zero.
Yeah, that's what well, the problem is we were losing light, because it's dark now. So we're fighting losing light. We're up in the snow. It just, the whole thing was bad. I was just like, we need to go now, do this boom, boom, boom. Because I do not want to be on the side of this mountain tonight.
You guys do the time change tonight?
Oh, crap. I forgot about that. Are we getting more sleeping or
Less.
less sleeping?
Getting less.
I'm happy about it.
God, I hate this one.
No, this is the good one.
This is the good one? We get more sleep or less sleep?
No, you get less sleep, but it works out because we have more daylight now.
I don't like
ever
the time
feel
changes. I wish they would do away with it.
I
agree.
Becky, how are you doing?
They need to do away with it and keep it at what it's going to be tomorrow. That's what they need to do.
I don't know, man.
I would much rather have more daylight at the end of the day than at the beginning of the day.
Problem is, in the winter here, it wouldn't get daylight until like 9 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I know you're okay with that over there. It probably wouldn't be too much
daylight in the day, in the morning, so I can actually see when I'm driving to work or taking the kids to school.
See, I work in the basement of an office building in a room that has no windows. I don't need daylight until I leave.
I was gonna say, you guys have jobs?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I got a job. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Retired.
Yeah, rub it in.
Every now and then.
Playing with Can-Ams all day.
Listen, I wish I could tell you that I played with Can-Ams all day. I wish I could tell you I did something productive half the days. Half of my day is spent not knowing. So I don't know what I'm doing going into each day. I have an idea of what I want to accomplish, but nothing's really set in stone. And then you go to do something and you end up squirreling down a rabbit hole and working on something you never saw coming.
Imagine having to do that and a 40-hour week job.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you're working on the next level of the game.
Basically. Well, the problem is that I'm not working on any of my junk most of the time. Like, it's always somebody else's junk.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah. I don't like working on my junk either. Let's face it. No one likes
I like working on my junk.
It depends what I'm doing. Good with it.
I would like to finish working on some of my junk, but I'm mostly just working on it.
On different junk. Yeah, so I'm working on this frame, which is kind of, I was talking to Gary about this today. So the frame and gusseting and beefing up with that frame is kind of like my job, and I really air quote that. And then like I'm building a pack out system for it, so I can pull a seat and then bolt in essentially a pack out base, so the dog could ride there, or you could pack out into the seat and whatnot. And that's kind of for my rig that I'm playing with now.
Yeah.
And those are going to be my weekend projects. And like the e-brake I want to put in is going towards the rig that actually works. And so I have just multiple projects stacked on top of each other that are fighting against each other for time and resources. It's normal stuff.
Sounds legit.
And then on top of that, I was talking to you and dudes about this. There's that G35 that just popped up that I'm like, you know what? I like bad decisions. Why not double down? Why not double? So, Mongrels, let me lay this out for you. Silver 04 G35 blown engine, $1,000 is OBO, $1,000 is what it's out right now. Decent interior is what it says on the ad. So
that cigarette burns, I'm sure.
Oh, listen. I'm hooking the trailer up. In fact, the trailer's already hooked up. I hook the trailer up. I roll down there with $500 and be like, "What do you say?" I've left for less.
Yeah.
I have two VQ35 drivetrains sitting in a garage in Washington State. Both motors have less than 60,000 miles on them. One's an automatic and one is a manual. So I have a full drivetrain for this car just sitting in a garage, because when I took them out and swapped V8s into things, they were worthless, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of perfectly good motors. And so they've literally been 10 years I've been holding on to these stupid motors. Moved them 3,000 miles across the country once, and then I left them in Washington. I couldn't, when I moved back, I was like, I don't need the weight. I've got plenty of crap. I left them them there.
You know, but the dude's is adamant that it's an awful idea.
He's probably not wrong.
You need to do it.
He's probably not wrong, though.
No, he's
probably not.
We all suffer from the same thing. I guarantee we all suffer from the same thing.
Well, I don't need it for
how many unfinished projects, right?
Well, this is why this one appeals to me. I have this motor that I've been dragging around. It's just taking up space. So if I'm able to take that motor, put it into a car, and then get rid of that car, that maybe makes a little money and gets rid of my junk. So I feel like if I was actually going to finish this project, it would work.
That's the key.
And content, right? Content. Remember a YouTube channel?
What?
So that's the trick. I make content riding around on a rig now. So making content and beating myself underneath a car to change a motor doesn't seem that fun to make compared to like driving to the woods. You know what I mean?
Have a good one, Becky.
Might not be a good idea.
Oh, Becky, you got to go to work? What kind of class?
Well, see that we all suffer from the same thing, and you're right. We but we always make that excuse of justifying why we can go get that vehicle.
Yeah, and that's why I've been talking to people too. If I could find somebody who needs a little beat around car and wants to help do the work, and I'll just sell them a motor for whatever going rate is on a motor. You know, I would love to get it that way. They buy the car and I help get the content, like Jim's saying, and then that somebody gets a car they need, because I don't need the project, and there's not a huge margin to be made there. I think you get $6,000 out of that car, maybe running and driving, if it's in a decent condition. I mean, the one picture of the interior doesn't give me high hope.
Well, that's why I kind of stick to the Dodge Rams and the Chevy trucks, because a 4x4 truck, if you get it cheap enough, it's always easy to sell.
Well, and that's the thing, at $500, if you get the rig at $500 and you have the motor and you swap it in, you can ship it down the road for $5-6 grand. And if you can do that turnaround in 2-3 weeks, that's pretty, weekends or whatever.
Well, I don't know why, but it just recently I got on that G body kick, and I just wanted a G body. So that's why I went and looked at this car and the body, and it's in really nice shape on this car. I really would like to have like a early 80s Grand Prix, but I'll settle for the Monte Carlo. So I was like, oh, hey, there's a Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Go pick it up.
Yeah, but like you said, then well, it's like, dude, I wish Dudes was here for this part of the conversation too, because he's constantly picking up projects to
I'm the same.
do. Yeah,
I'm the same.
exactly. Yeah,
I
I
constantly
have.
pick stuff up. I know I've got too much stuff I'm never going to finish, but I go find something else anyways.
Well, I've been on a moratorium of no more new projects. The X3 is different because it's not a project. The frame came with it, and that is a project. But that's, I mean, we're in the weeds there. It doesn't
Yeah. Like
but
I
like,
said, you always make an excuse.
listen, that's different. That's not a car. The Can-Am is not a car. That's how I'm going to justify it.
However you want to justify it, your own mind, bud.
I picked up a trailer that's a smoker. It's a Traeger smoker trailer.
Oh, hell yeah!
I have never smoked meat in my life, but I've got this giant trailer. I could smoke just an ass ton of meat. But yeah,
Good.
it's a project.
It's a project.
It's a project.
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah. If you're going to talk about projects that are not car projects, oof, I don't even want to talk about that list. There's, oh god, yeah. I keep coming up with all these great ideas for these Can-Ams that I'm like, somebody should make this and make some money. And then I start getting into like trying to figure out how to make it, and I'm like, I see why no one makes this.
The problem I'm having right now is I'm only getting halfway through any one job, and then I'm waiting for parts.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I can't put any content out, and because I'm not done the video that I want to make. So
Really, some part about the writing content is it's so easy to put up. Editing it, especially the multiple camera stuff, is not very easy, but
right, yeah.
it's the making of the content. So you turn some cameras on, you go for a ride, you have a good time. Now that you can actually hear us talking, I kind of have to sometimes think about what we're talking about because it brings a new aspect to it. I wish the microphones were better. It's too walkie-talkie. I wish it didn't get so walkie-talkie.
I did do something interesting on my last video though, and it's a very simple video. I just did an oil change on the charger.
Yeah.
But what I did do is I went and found some video clips from different things to see how the copyright stuff would work.
Oh yeah, so the whole cut scenes and stuff like that. Yeah. And
So
how did that? Nothing. How long were the clips? How short did you make the clips?
I kept them below 5 seconds every clip. And I even used one from Family Guy and Simpsons.
Well, I hear as long as you stay low in the seconds, you have a better chance.
Well, I did a couple things. Like one of the things I did is I changed the music that was with the clip. So I didn't have the voices and stuff. I just used the visual. So what I used is I said, you need to wash your car. And then I cut to the scene with Homer and Peter washing cars.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever see that one?
Where they're dressed up like Daisy Dukes? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So blowing the bubbles and they're sitting.
Oh god.
So okay, let's see if anything's going to get it. This will get it, right? It'll be this. And I used a little bit from Christine.
Oh wow! So you pull a little bit from everywhere.
Oh yeah, I used some. I used a little from Christine. Used some from Scream, Christine, Family Guy, some news footage, a couple of YouTube clips.
How's the video doing?
Oh, it's not doing good because it's just an oil change, but most people.
It's like, oh, no one watched it, but you know,
one really watched it.
That's funny though. Oil. You're talking about all the different clips you used in it, and then you reminded us all that it's just an oil change video.
It's just an oil change video.
I
did that on purpose. I didn't expect to have a lot of views on it, and it's the reason I made the oil change video, and that I didn't really care that much about it because I was trying. Because if I did get the copyright, I could just take it down, right?
Right.
It's true. Well, you can also, it'll give you an option to edit it if you get copyrighted.
Oh, that's such a pain in the butt. You know how long
Oh, yeah, no. Have you ever tried? update an edit on
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah,
It's like, holy crap, man.
yeah.
You can't even preview it or anything. You got to wait for it to update. It takes like an hour to update. And you can finally look at how it looks like. And it's
If
like, oh, crap, I missed the timing mark by
yeah,
second. So now you got to go back and do it again as an hour.
and like
again.
tracking blur doesn't track that well either.
No,
So
it's ridiculous.
yeah,
So that's why I'm just like, well, if the video does good, fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But I want to see, because there's lots of people that do it. Like a good example is the Critical Drinker, right? He's always doing the movie reviews and stuff.
yeah.
And he's using brand new clips and everything else, but it's all that.
At that point, he's doing review videos, which are reaction videos, which are their own. There's a trick with that.
Well, there is, but there's also what's the term? I'm trying to remember what the term is. Oh, I can't remember now.
Scumbaggery, that's the term.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that, but there's a artistic license of some sort.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. What is that called?
Oh, I just it's slipping my mind right now. But it's where
Parody. You can parody essentially.
Well, there's you can use it as a like what I did, where I'm using it to emphasize something, or
Yeah.
you can use it as you're not directly copying the material just to post the material for your
Yeah,
own personal
yeah.
gain.
You're driving home a point with it. It's
You're
not
driving a point, or
yeah.
you're referencing. It's a reference or something like that, right? It's not something that you're just putting up there for just because it's funny and you want to get benefit from it.
Well,
But I can't remember the term. I'm trying to remember what the term actually is called. But
we're gonna get down the conversation. Mongo's just gonna randomly throw out whatever word. We're gonna be like, what? He's like, that was what it was.
yeah, I probably would. Yeah,
Yeah.
you may do that before. It's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah.
So, Jared, at this point, I have spent a not insignificant amount of money on microphones to try. So I've got like this Rode mic that I run on the big camera. I've got a smaller Rode mic that I've run, and wind seems to be the problem with these. You get to the point where you could put the big dead cat on here, but then it's so big it starts getting into the issues of you can see it in the camera. Because when it moves around, it'll with the dead cat on, it'll dip into the field of view, especially with the GoPros. Otherwise, you got to space it up real high, but the wind still becomes an issue. The headset radio system that I installed in the rig we have headsets, which I really love as a driving perspective. It's a little walkie-talkie squawky for recording. I run into. Also found out you can't charge the GoPro while you're trying to get audio at the same time because you get this really cool engine noise that goes over the top of 2 months worth of video recordings because you don't check anything when you're recording until it's time to edit them months later. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Get ready for that, people.
Fair enough. That's it. Fair use.
Hey, there you go. Fair use.
Fair use.
I know. I told you it was gonna be like that.
What do you use to edit those with?
I'm doing everything with what is it? Power Director. Power Director 16 or Cinema. Power Director is the name of the software. Cyberlink is who makes it. So it's Cyberlink's Power Director 16 is what I have. And it has a deal called the multicam editor, and it lets you put in up to four cameras over the top of each other, and so you have your four kind of like we are in Windows off to the side, and then you have your main screen, and you can see what's going on over here and just click on. You're like the guy go camera 2, ready camera 1, and you're like that guy in that editing room, and that's how I do these shots. So I line the footage up so all four cameras are seeing the same thing, and then I just go between the ones, and if I don't like how it comes out, I just go back and redo that section. It's actually pretty cool.
So I can do that in DaVinci Resolve.
Yes, you should be able to do it in all of them, really.
Yeah, where you can line them up like that. But you can, with DaVinci, you can separate the audio tracks. So if you want to just use say, the audio track of camera one the entire time, but still
So
switch back and forth. You can do that, and that way
that's how
you can do
mine
it now.
works too. So what I actually end up doing is I'll run both audio tracks over the top of each other. So I run a mic in the back, but it doesn't get audio for the voices. It gets really good engine noise though. It does get
Mhm.
some audio, but not a lot. And that was the problem I was having is you could sometimes hear us talking a little bit, but you couldn't understand what the hell we were saying. So that was why I went
Right.
with the because anytime I've got the lapel mics too, which what I tried, but the wind still becomes a problem. Anytime you get
Yeah, the
anything
wind kills
in
those.
or about this area, the wind, even with the mics, the wind is sometimes an issue on the headsets.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. It's the same reason, like, I should have known Leroy when they were doing the drag and drive stuff on Leroy for Cletus. They got the headsets and they were like, they're awesome. We're gonna be able to record and let us you guys hear what we're saying. And then he never did that. And I just figured they didn't want us hearing it. And now that I have it, I know why. It's because the audio is terrible for videos. So what I do is I turn down that audio, the video audio or the audio on that squawky part and keep it really low. And then I turn and put the medium volume from the other camera to get the engine noise to kind of layer over the top of it. And that has so far made it acceptable in some of the videos I've done. You guys aren't there in the videos that are actually out yet. Because I'm always a couple of months above, further
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
But it
Have you
definitely has.
tried?
What?
Have you tried a just audio recorder?
A separate, I have not. And my biggest issue for that is lining up the sound with the video. Separate audio
Well,
recordings like that, you gotta almost have like a time marker and stamps to try and figure that out.
DaVinci does it for you. You can put it on. You
Really?
can just add it in with all of your video tracks, and as long as one of your video tracks has that same audio in it, even if it's shitty,
Yes.
it'll figure it out and just line everything up.
Okay, so mine will do that too as long as it has an audio section. That's what screws me. My front camera is in a case, obviously,
Mhm.
because it's the one that gets water all the time. And that camera never gets good audio, so it never lines that one up. And I always have to like find a
Screw with it.
thing I can mark off of, and it'll do all
Yeah,
the other ones, but that front camera I always have to do by hand, and that's a pain.
Well,
yeah, I've had that problem.
I use DaVinci as well, and it's a fantastic program, but
I've heard good things.
it's a very resource heavy program.
Yeah, yes, you have to have a good computer.
You have to have a very good
Say
computer.
it's the exact same thing with this one I have.
Very steep learning curve as well.
It's a very steep learning, but you can do anything you want with it, and you can do it multiple ways. It's one of those ones where it can do it all, and there's multiple ways to do it. You just got to figure out what way you want to.
We
The
are
best
doing
part
all
about it
caps
is it's
again. I forgot.
100% free. You don't have to pay
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Well, there's some features I have considered paying for it because there's some features that I would really like to use that are only on the pay version, and one of them is like the masking. So you can auto mask stuff where you say you can cut out the background and stuff like that if you want
Yeah.
to do stuff like that and put something behind.
I,
rather
I
than
don't
what
think
was there.
it's too expensive though. I think it's only a couple hundred
No,
bucks,
it's
and
only
it's
a
for
couple hundred
life.
bucks. Or something. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't
Well,
have to.
so
reasonable.
it's a couple $100 and then you own it for life and it updates, or is this going to be like what was that one that they just had a big stink on changing that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not like that. I'm pretty sure you own it for life, and
Yeah.
it's one of those freeware projects where there's lots of
Okay.
people always working on it.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
and
Open
the
source or
company,
whatever.
yeah, it's open source. The company that makes it
Black
that does
magic.
that is Black Magic, and they sell high end cameras. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Okay.
and they also sound like they sell all the editing equipment as well, like the boards and all that stuff. They sell all that stuff,
Yeah.
but it is a fantastic program. It truly is. It's got a little glitch here or there that you got to work
Yeah.
your way through once in a while. But once you learn how to use it, but like you said, it's a very steep learning curve. But once you learn how to use it, it is so powerful, so
I
good.
think that's why I didn't go with DaVinci when I went with the one I did because I paid for mine, but I have a hard copy of it so I can put it on as many computers as I want and all of that. But the learning curve wasn't as steep as some of the as like DaVinci or even Premiere or whatever it is or the Adobe one.
Yeah, Adobe's way too expensive.
And it's a membership. You don't
Yep.
actually get it. You pay to just
Yeah.
use it for get wrecked.
DaVinci is awesome because you get the base package that for no cost. You learn how to use it, and the fact that they did that, I want to buy the professional version because it's just that much better. And I
Yeah.
will one of these days because it's just a great program. I
Well, what
really,
I've found is that a lot of the editing softwares are pretty similar. Like
they are.
the one that Destroyer and Dudes use is very similar to how mine is because I watched Destroyer do a tutorial on how he uses his, and I'm in mine at the same time, and I'm like, there was a thing he showed me, and I was like, holy crap, mine does that too, and I've been doing it wrong this whole time. What is wrong with you? You know, you're just like, oh my god, that would have saved
Well,
so much time if I'd known that.
the basics are all the same between them. You cut, you paste, da 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 da.
Yeah.
That all kind of works the same. You move the film around, all that stuff.
Yep.
But what is the other features that start when you start trying to do rotoscoping and stuff like that? Some really advanced features.
See, I
That's
don't
where
do
some of these
anything
other ones start to fall
yet.
down.
I'm pretty basic when it comes to
I was at
most of
I was
that.
at a photo shoot today, and
Ooh, a photo
this,
shoot, huh?
yeah. But one of the photographers there, he uh, he did a short, well, an Instagram reel while I was
Yeah.
there. He didn't, I don't know, he knocked it out in like 20 minutes using this program called CapCut, and it is amazing. I mean, it's a reel that's better than anyone I could ever hope to make. And he did
Oh,
it. He
really?
knocked it out in like 20 minutes. Uh, it was amazing. So, but that program CapCut is pretty much specifically for making reels and
Instagram,
shorts.
yeah,
Reels and
reels.
shorts.
Yeah, and you
See,
can get so you can get an app version of it for your phone, for your Android or your iPhone, as well as one that goes on your your PC. So that's kind of cool.
we really need to tell dudes that because he had it.
Yeah,
So this is another one where I go, you guys edit shorts?
yeah, I have.
Well,
I
yeah.
have.
Don't. I did a couple here and there, and I found there was zero benefit to editing the shorts in what I put up because literally the ones that have the least amount of effort into the shorts are the ones that seem to do the best for me.
The one that I got, well, it's funny because I I'll post my shorts on Instagram and on YouTube a lot of the time. I'll do
Yep.
both. Um, and the one where I was talking about the cold weather package on the GTO. So I was underneath the GTO. I was showing off the block heater, all that good stuff. Oh, it did okay on YouTube. Well, okay for me. Oh,
Yeah.
for you dudes, it's not okay.
Well,
You
no, a
lost.
hit for me is 15 to 2,000 views on a short is a hit. Now
Oh, okay.
I've had some mega hits, you know what I mean?
But
But for me a good hit for me that I'm like, hell yeah, 1,500 views, we're doing good things.
okay, well, it's around the same. But
Yeah.
on Instagram, the damn thing's still going. It's up at 16,000 views right now, and it's still going.
Yep. I've had a
So
couple. So the wife runs Instagram now, and she'll be like, "You got one hitting over here." Like the one of me throwing like a log or something out of the road. Apparently, it's like 15,000 views or something like that.
it's weird, eh?
Yeah, and I'm
But
just like, yeah, I don't know why.
what I like about Instagram is there's a couple times where I thought, oh, it's done, but no, it's not. All of a sudden, a few days later, it just starts rolling again, and
I wish the shorts were like that a little more.
I wish the shorts on YouTube were like that. They just, they have their little quick little. That's it. And you would think Instagram would be worse for that because you're posting something, it's you view it and it's done, right?
Jared, that one was for real. I thought he had a snowball. I thought my brother had thrown like a snowball, and this dog was like, "That's my snowball." Until he goes to, I don't know if you've seen the short I put up, and then he goes to bite on it, and it's just a stick covered in snow, and I'm like, oh, it's a little different.
Okay.
These
So
German Shepherds love the snow. My wife had just sent
yeah.
me a a picture of my German Shepherd out in the snow, like just sitting in the snow, like this is where I live now. And then I literally am looking at that as I'm watching this dog freaking eat snow in the yard. I'm like across the street. I'm like, yeah, they're all like this, freaking German Shepherds.
Yeah.
Yeah, my I have an Australian Shepherd, and he won't go out if the temperature's like below 60 or so. And he's like, "Nah, I'm staying."
That's
I I have a little one that's like my little rat terrier. He's like, "Oh, it's cold. No, we're not going out."
Yeah, that's good.
That's my punishment for my cats. It's like, oh
Oh,
yeah,
outside.
you're gonna do that? Outside you go for 5-10 minutes.
You see, Jim, this is exactly the photo shoot I thought you were going to.
I don't know why, but when you mentioned photo shoot, the lyrics popped in my head. I'm too sexy for my shoe. Too sexy by far.
Oh yes. Oh, that is. Yeah. God. What was that? That was in the 90s, right?
Right said Fred. Yeah, I think that was the 90s. Yeah,
It would have been early 90s, but I believe it wasn't 80s.
but
I
I
think
just
it
like
was
the whole
90s.
image, the song, everything.
Oh yeah.
See him up there on the catwalk, shaking what he's got.
Oh, God. That song was that song got played way more than
Oh
it
yeah.
should have.
Way more.
That song was played everywhere back in the day.
You know the other song that for some reason, these two are linked to me, and I don't know why. But you remember Clarence Carter? Stroke It.
Okay, yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah, it's the Adam. No, I was gonna say, what's the song Adam Sandler uses when he rolls up in the Trans Am in Billy Madison?
Oh no. That's completely that was
That's a different song. Yeah.
that's no. I don't really want to sing the Stroke It song.
Yeah, don't sing it, yeah.
Well, I could probably get away with some of it, but you just look it up later. Clarence Carter,
Yeah.
Stroke It.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But the one you're thinking of was Stroke Band.
Oh yes, that is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, yeah.
Stroke.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
the
what
one
I
you-
was.
That's
not what we're talking
Adam
about.
Sandler when he pulls up in the Trans Am.
Yes. Okay.
And
All right.
It was that movie is why
Oh,
I actually ordered
seriously,
my 99 Trans Am black with a white interior, because when I first saw it, I thought that car, I think it's a silver interior in it, but it was a black
Yeah.
Trans Am, silver interior. I'm like,
Light
"Ooh,
interior car. Yeah.
very light interior." And that's why when I ordered my 99 Trans Am, I said I want a black car, white interior. And everyone looked at me sideways.
Because that's a bold move, Cotton.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It's well, the problem is somebody like me can never own a white interior car. It will be ruined.
Oh, there it is, right?
God, it does
Yeah.
look so good though. I could never own it, but I appreciate that. Like I would look at that and be like,
It's hard.
I would literally, if I didn't know you and walked by, I would be like, "That's a bold move, Cotton." That's exactly what I would say. It's exactly what I would say to that. It's just it looks good, but you got to commit to a white interior.
Yeah, it takes a lot. To keep
One
up.
day I don't know when in the future, I'm going to finally redo my 71 Chevelle convertible. And when I do, it's going to have a white interior for sure. For sure.
Do you
It's
have
like
an
driving
interior
around
guy
with
down
that
there?
Steel, that car. It's great. I love it.
If you don't have an interior guy, Ace Upholstery down Mechanicsville area is who did the whole interior in my Z. I don't know if he's still doing it, but good dude, old timer,
Nice.
old hippie. He's a good dude. It listens to NPR and just does sewing stuff in the garage. Good dude.
Yeah, there's the I don't know if you can see that very, but the seats.
Oh
So
wow.
Yeah.
it's the Arctic White in that car.
Yeah.
Okay?
Nice.
So Chumbawamba, yes, another song that played way too much on the
Agreed.
radio.
Yeah.
Like, what is that song even about? Getting hammered? Thrown up? Getting hammered again? Like, seriously, how is this a song? How are there that many choruses? What is going on here?
Hey, you want to see me with like platinum hair?
Oh, God.
You wanna see
No,
it?
but
You wanna see
yes. Oh, wow. Wow. That's aggressive, bud.
Yeah, it was pretty
That
aggressive.
is, that is, what year was that?
Oh, that was
The real Slim Shady might have something to say about that outfit there,
probably
bud.
25 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No,
Oh
we were pretty
man.
close. 23, 24 years ago, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, early 2000s.
Now it's kind of going that color on its own. So it's a
Getting
yeah.
Yeah. I keep finding these monster gray hairs in my beard that they'll just come to the top and then poke out. I'll just
I got like the racing
white
stripes.
one.
I got
Yeah, like
you kind of
yeah,
do too,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. I got them right here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, you were in Chumbawamba?
Chumbawamba. Yeah.
Did you play was it the symbol?
No, I was in. I'm a Barbie girl.
Oh Jesus. That That and
That
like
was
what does the
classic.
fox say? Those two songs
That was played a
I
lot.
just don't now dudes will tell you, and he told me that song was created as like some sort of mathematical fucking thing in that song, and that they knew it was going to be a hit, blah blah blah. And dudes told me this whole thing about it, and I was like, no way. And he's like, no, it's totally a thing, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, if dudes tells me, I tend to believe it, because he does actually look at that stuff.
He does a lot of research on weird stuff, man. I gotta have more cowbell. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, what is
not
that?
bad.
Blue Oyster? That's Blue Oyster Cult, right?
Well, Blue Oyster Cult, but Christopher Walken on Saturday Night
Yeah,
Live.
yeah, yeah. With Will
Bam.
Ferrell just fucking beating the
Just
shit
giving
out of
it
that
away.
thing. I got a sickness.
I got a sickness. I need more cowbell.
Yo, him and the drummer from what is it? The Red Hot Chili Peppers are like doppelgangers for each other. Too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I love Christopher Walken, man. He's awesome. But the other skit that I remember from, see if you remember this one, the one from Saturday Night Live that I just what killed myself. I was laughing so hard was when they did the Chippendales with Chris Farley and Patrick.
Oh yeah.
Oh my lord.
Well,
Chris Farley and
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze,
yeah,
that was great.
Have you ever seen some of the behind the scenes with that? And like there was people that were legitimately like fucking felt bad for Chris in that one. They're just like, and then Chris just owned that and didn't feel bad about it and made it for. But there were people when they did his like there was a documentary someone did where they were like. They were like, that just wasn't. Looking back on it, they're like, that wasn't right. You know what I mean? But Chris didn't give a shit. He's just out there winning it.
No, that was the great thing about him. He didn't care. But well, I don't know if he cared or not. But I mean, he
didn't make it. He didn't make it look like he cared.
He owned it, man, and like it was impressive. Like I don't know how he could move like that.
To be fair, copious amounts of cocaine.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably a lot of cocaine.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's the sad part about his idol was
Belushi,
right?
Yeah.
And he says, "I want to be just like John Belushi," and unfortunately, he was just like John
just
Belushi.
like him. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think he might have been better. Belushi, don't get me wrong, I love Belushi.
Yeah.
But Farley was on a trajectory. I mean, just the movies he put out, he got more. Well, did he really get more classics?
I don't know.
It's a hard one, man.
One. Like I like the.
They both have some gems,
and the what was the one he did with Tommy Boy or whatever? Was it?
Well, you got Tommy Boy and you got Black Sheep.
Black Sheep,
Those two were mint. You know, the Beverly Hills Ninja was not.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was.
He got a little too. I'm not a giant like when it gets too slapstick. Like I'm not a giant Will Ferrell fan because most movies that Will Ferrell goes into, I don't like him when he's a leading man. If he is a secondary supporting actor, I normally like.
He
those
does
movies.
have a couple that he just shine, like Talladega Nights. Man.
So here's the problem with Talladega Nights and Step Brothers and some of the other ones that those two did together. Those movies are all just one-liners stacked one after the other, and that is the plot of the movie. It's just a bunch of one-liners. And that's why you can quote those movies, beginning to end. Happy Gilmore is a similar one, and Billy Madison. It's a lot of one-liners and a lot of slapstick, but to me, that one totes the line a little bit better than the Will Ferrell ones do to me, and that's just a personal preference. Like Elf is the worst movie in the world.
Oh, I never really enjoyed Elf too much.
My favorite
No
Will
problem,
Ferrell
Tim.
movie, my favorite Will Ferrell movie, without a doubt, hands down, is Zoolander.
Oh,
Zoolander?
Zoolander, he does an amazing, and see, that's the thing.
Well, got to.
Will Ferrell is a very good actor. I cannot take that away from him. I'm just personally not a fan when he has to do it by himself. But on a movie like Zoolander or Old School or even like the other guys,
Old
the other
School
guys
is
push
great.
it a little far.
Or even
but
Austin Powers.
yeah, well, so Austin Powers I dig because it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
No,
but
that
and
was
he doesn't go too slapstick either.
No.
You know, he doesn't go too far. But I don't know. I do
well,
like
I think he actually went pretty far, but it was almost. I almost think that's where Family Guy got some of its stuff from, because you know when Peter falls down, he skins his knee, and he's sitting there for like 5 minutes.
Oh God, dude!
That
when he's got that thing going sideways in the tunnel, that thing, dude, that bit right there is so simple. That is such a simple bit, but to watch to watch the way it's executed in that stupid movie, it's just that's a masterclass in something so simple and so funny.
Oh, but just what it reminds me of is when Will Ferrell in Austin Powers, he gets dumped down into the pit or whatever. He's like,
it's really hot down here.
It's quite hot down here.
I've hurt myself quite badly.
I've hurt myself. And he just goes on, and at the end of the movie, he's there too, right? But whenever I see something like that, it always reminds me of that moment in Austin Powers with Will Ferrell doing, I'm in quite a bit of pain.
I forgot he was in that until just now what you're saying, and then once you say that, I'm like, oh, I can hear his voice saying that line.
Genius. It was genius. Well, that whole movie was great. Like, I mean, it was before the time.
Imagine writing that movie because I know that he obviously was in most of the writings and getting it, but to be like, hey, I'm just gonna play this guy and this guy and this guy, and we're just gonna make it work. Like, okay.
But and he was one of the first to kind of do that, right?
I think didn't Williams do something with that in Doubtfire? Robin, I feel like Robin is somebody could have done that as well.
There are people that have done that, but not to maybe that extent, right?
I'll give you that.
And the person that does it the most now is, of course, Seth MacFarlane. He does it
well. He does it a lot, but P and Keel or do it a ton on with the skit show.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're constantly trained.
So, but you
Fox,
think about
which
when
was
you're
your
watching
favorite John Candy movie, Fox?
I know.
Oh,
John Candy
sorry.
was a fucking gem, bud.
Legend.
Is there a bad John Candy movie?
I would think so.
Not one that I recall.
I mean, Uncle Buck.
My favorite was probably Summer Rental.
Summer Rental is a good one. I don't know, Uncle Buck. I don't know if that one was just on a bunch when I was a kid, but I just remember watching like Uncle Buck was just always on during the day at random times when nothing else was on.
Was Summer Rentals were the one where she got the boob job?
Oh, Armed and Dangerous with the freaking motorcycle at the end, right?
Yeah,
and he's in the truck. Yeah.
But
that's a
Summer
good
Rental
one.
is the one where the one lady got the boob job and kept trying to get him to. And he
and the husband's like, quit asking everybody. Everybody likes him.
Just will you touch him? I paid enough for him. Just touch them. Let her know how good they are, right? He's like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
It's got and then Rip Torn is in that one playing.
The Great Outdoors was a good one too. With Aykroyd's in The Great Outdoors with him, isn't he?
Yeah.
Aykroyd. Was it? It must have been Aykroyd.
Stripes.
Levy.
Stripes is a great movie too. I don't think that one really gets enough press or whatever. You know what I mean? Enough credit for people that are in it and the job they did on Stripes.
Levy in Great Outdoors?
I thought Aykroyd was in it with him, but Levy might have been there too. I mean, it's been so long since I've seen that one. Levy's a good. I like him in things
Oh, yeah.
like basically everything.
Wow. No, it was totally Dan Aykroyd.
That's a goddamn laugh.
Well, all those
I
guys
think
were.
Eugene Levy was great in American Pie.
Yes. As
He
the
did
father?
such a great
Oh,
job.
he's so
Well, because you in a movie that ridiculous, you got to have a character like that to try and like
Yeah.
bring it back down to fucking reality a little bit.
That was
Yeah,
Armed and
that's
Dangerous,
right.
Aykroyd's
That's
granddaughters.
right.
Yay, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, Fox is keeping us straight here.
Yeah. But those guys are all legends, man. Like,
Oh,
and all what was that? Speed Zone.
well, like what is it? Hughes. John, who's the guy, the director that did
Of
all
what?
the like? He did Home Alone and
Oh.
like 16 Candles and
That was
some other.
Hughes.
John Hughes. Is it John
Hughes? Yeah.
Hughes? Something Hughes.
John
But he
Hughes.
loved Candy, and that's how Candy ended up in a bunch of those things. Like Home Alone, the first Home Alone, Candy showed up and did all of his stuff in one day. That was one day of shooting was everything for Home Alone, and he didn't get whatever the bare minimum or whatever. It's basically like, hey, come do this, because that's all comes to do with Uncle Buck. Because they shot Buck before Home Alone, I think is how that went down, or there was something along with that, and that's how he ends up in Home Alone is because the guy Hughes, I think, did both movies or something like it's something like that. I saw something somewhere about that. I love trivia about old crap like that.
Yeah. No. Okay. Here's another classic.
As a
Three
favor
Amigos.
at the minimum pay rate, I knew it was something along those
Yeah.
lines.
Here's another classic. Three Amigos.
Oh my god. I love when they shoot the invisible freaking dude at the bush or whatever and shoot your gun around in the air and dude's just like yada yada boom and dude's like he's dead. He just lets his arm drop down. God, that movie is so I have not seen that in so long.
Oh yeah, I know it's so long. I want to go back. I should take my kids.
Oh my
Get
god.
my kids to watch some of these classics.
Who's Harry Crumb? I don't remember that one.
Hey, Battery. Hey, Blake.
Blake, what's up, brother? How you doing? Welcome to the party. We're talking John Candy movies right now. Apparently, that's where the conversation is.
And of course, there's Cool Runnings. That was great.
Oh, God, that was a good one. I forgot he was in that one, too.
Yeah.
That
I
dude
like
was in
it when-
so many.
the
Planes,
best is when he
trains, and
puts the helmet up.
automobiles,
Yeah.
though? Oh, God.
Where's your hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
What well, and I don't know enough about the behind the scenes with him if he like
Oh,
or
Did he
came
just
up with the
freeze or
funny
did-
things or
oh.
am I froze? Am I here?
No, you're here.
Okay.
Back.
He said oh, Spaceballs.
Oh, Spaceballs, great movie.
Oh God, that is so good. Surrounded by assholes.
My God, they've switched to plaid.
Ludicrous speed.
Yeah. Cold
See,
the
but-
desert.
See, this is okay. So
You
that
guys
movie right
might
there
admit-
is a
Yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of one-liners, but that movie works, I think,
Yeah.
better than Elf does. Or well, I
Well,
can't say
Rick-
it doesn't work better than Talladega Nights does work. It just
Talladega Nights was great, but Spaceballs is just such a classic, dude. Like
it really is.
it comb the desert. Hey, you guys find anything? No, we ain't found shit.
I know. I'm my own best friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
Jesus.
man. I see
Those were
your
good.
squats is as big as mine.
Oh God.
Oh, that's such a great movie.
It really is. Well, so have any of you seen History of the Earth Part 2? The new Mel Brooks thing or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
I did. It was a long time.
I
ago,
have
man.
no. So yeah, History of the World. That's the first. They just made a second one, like all of these years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just came out on Hulu. I've been seeing things for it. I haven't actually watched it. I haven't seen the original, and I couldn't even tell you how long it's been since I
Yeah.
watched the original one. So I don't know. I find those are hit or miss, man. When you come back on a classic or an oldie like that one, I don't know if I want to call History of the World a classic. It is, but I mean, a lot of people are divided on Mel Brooks stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
I
mean?
think he was, for the most part, he was genius on most of it. Like in Blazing Saddles,
Oh
Airplane, like
man,
oh man, like
seriously.
I mean, look,
those are just
some people have a sense of humor, and the rest of them don't like Mel Brooks.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
There is that. I will say that Mel
Well,
Brooks has done
surely not.
some very shady, weird shit outside of his movies that I could be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
can honestly sit here and be like, Mel Brooks is a weird fucking dude, man.
yeah.
But his shit's funny. Like,
Oh
it's, you know what I mean? It's like that's funny. That dude's weird. I wouldn't trust him with my daughter, but it's weird.
I don't think I'd trust anyone from Hollywood with anyone's daughter.
yeah. I wouldn't trust
Facts.
him with my son either.
Hey, Kevin Spacey? What?
Oh yeah,
Firmly on the.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh
those.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
You got.
Airplane alone. Let's
Oh
look at Airplane alone.
my.
How much stuff
No,
in
Blazing Saddles is way worse.
Oh yeah, but have a good one,
Ryan,
man.
you have a good night, brother. I really appreciate you hanging
Yes,
out.
Blazing Saddles
See you,
is.
man.
There's no way you could probably do Blazing Saddles at all, right?
Dude,
But
I can't
Scary
say that
Movie.
I ever saw. I don't remember 3. I know I never saw 4 and 5.
Yeah, I remember one quite. It's funny because my
Oh
kids
yeah.
and I just watched the new Scream movie.
I've
And
heard there was a new one, and they've actually brought it kind of back around. What happened to what's her name? Is she gone? Gone? I know she's not in this one. What?
which
Sydney?
one? No,
Sydney?
she's in it.
She's in it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I haven't.
Nev Campbell or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That was her, right?
yeah,
Naomi Campbell. Nev Campbell. What do you, oh,
yeah,
hang
Nev
on.
Campbell. And then what's her name? Courtney Cox is in it as well.
Movie 40. I know she was in it. Movie 43. Are they on number 43? Is that the number they're in? Scream?
Yeah, they
Scream
probably are by
45 at this point?
now.
Well, it's like the Freddy or Jason's movies. Like, God, how
Oh,
many of those are we on at this point? Who knows?
yeah. But
I just
do they even make those anymore? I don't think they make those
the only
anymore.
one I remember, there was one where he's on a cruise ship or something like that. I remember seeing when I was a kid that I
Yeah.
shouldn't have been watching. And I just remember being like, "Oh wow, what is this? Like, is that a boob? Oh, that chick's dead. Oh no, what's going on here?" Like,
Well, when I was a kid, I could not watch those movies.
oh no,
I
no.
couldn't. I was like, I was
Oh,
terrified.
so the movie that got me, so I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Where you see in my videos where I take you is the middle of nowhere I grew up. There was a movie called The Watchers. If you ever get a chance, and they made like 27 of these, probably. I don't know. There was a bunch, and the gist of it was the government made this killing machine monster that follows a golden retriever, and anything the golden retriever gets near, this thing just chases it down and kills it, and that's the you know,
Okay,
the story.
interesting.
And it all takes place in the woods, and a kid finds this dog, and then the kid and the dog are going, and this thing just is trailing behind them, just death and destruction horror movie.
Is
It's,
that based on a Dean Koontz book?
it might be, I couldn't tell you. I just remember I watched it
like
way too young at a friend's house, and then went out into the wilderness, and the whole movie's shot in the woods, and I'm just like, monsters killing everybody in the woods with dogs. Great. Yeah, okay, perfect.
What-
This is just what a kid needed to freaking see.
You know what was also a good movie that you just reminded me of? Cujo.
Oh,
I
that,
love Cujo.
yeah.
I love
Oh.
Cujo the book. I hated Cujo the movie. The movie
Yeah,
ends
yeah.
differently than the book, and it changes everything.
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 Yeah. And then,
Well, I mean, you got,
and then that,
what is it? Maximum Overdrive for if you want car-related,
oh, that was
horror
that
movies.
was a great cult classic. I mean, it was a terrible movie, but it was awesome.
It's a terrible movie, but it is awesome.
Yeah. I love that. I was trying to find it for my kids the other day, and all I could find was a French version. I was so disappointed.
Oh,
I was like, "Oh, we gotta watch this."
Yeah, Watchers is based on a novel by Dean Koontz. Yeah. I
okay.
thought
there we go.
Thought it sounded familiar.
I was gonna say, you obviously have read it or something because I very loosely described that.
Well, the other classic that got me when I was a kid was American Werewolf in London.
Oh,
Oh,
And that one it freaked me out a little bit, but worse than that was The Howling.
I was just about to say The
I never saw
Howling
that.
was definitely a movie I watched when I was far too young to be able to watch the movie because that came out in like '81.
Yeah,
I was 10.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a scary, scary movie when I saw
yeah.
it.
I've never seen The
But
Howling.
the
I don't
funny
know
Oh,
that
part
one.
about
you've got to
that,
watch the Howling. I actually watched The Howling again last year. It still
did you?
holds up. You should watch it. I mean,
See,
the
I found that a lot with a lot of old videos or movies and stuff. They just don't hold up well. I have
yeah,
ruined a lot of fond memories of things by going back and watching them again and being like, "This is trash." Like,
Like
why did
the
I ever
evil,
think this was
like the
good?
Evil Dead, for
And
example.
then I feel bad about like all the people I've told to go watch whatever the thing is. Like, fuck, I just totally shit all over these people. Like, this movie's garbage.
Well, the funny thing about The Howling is I remember it was one of those things. I was a kid, right?
Oh,
And
the
I was
thing
kind of
was a
sneaking
scary
up, and
movie.
my mom was up with, and she had her friend over, and they wanted to have a scary movie night. So they were, and you remember the big laser discs, the big like it was a big record player.
We weren't high off enough to have one of those, but I remember seeing them on the
You could
TV,
rent,
the big CDs.
yeah, I
Yeah.
yeah,
remember my rich friends having those. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could rent those, right? And so they'd rent you the machine and the disc. So
Oh,
they
shut up.
rent
So you rented the whole like
the whole damn,
giant
you got the
CD
whole damn thing.
player?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Shut
yeah.
up. That's
So
awesome.
so they rented this, and they're watching this movie, and they got all the lights out, and but the funny thing is the wind picked up, and there's a tree really close to the patio door,
Just
so
tapping.
it started tapping and scraping on the door, kind of almost in sync with the movie, and it scared the crap out of them. I just remember my mom and
Everyone freaked. Oh,
nice.
jeez. We did not watch scary movies much in my household.
no,
My mom was not a scary movie person. My dad just didn't care for him or whatever. You know, it just wasn't a thing. But my buddy's house, Brett, his parents, or his mom especially, would always watch them. That's where I saw that
That's how I
Watchers
watched them.
movie. That's where I saw a bunch of movies I
yeah.
probably shouldn't be
Yep.
watching. Brett's mom always hooked us up with the good stuff
Yeah.
we probably
The
shouldn't be
first
watching.
the first
But
scary movie I actually watched that I sat down and watched and was enthralled by was Christine.
so she was also the one that turned us on to Ramstein. We're like 9 or
Rammstein, really?
something, and she's like showing us Du Hast and all these other German heavy metal
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm just like she's got us listening to Tool and stuff like that as kids, and I like Metallica and all of that stuff. Well, I mean Metallica we were all kind of listening to, but that was like the stuff she jammed.
Top Secret. There's another one. Spies Like Us.
Oh, Spies like that's the one with Bill Murray is in that one, isn't he? Where they go to Russia and get the ICBMs in the snow at the end. Isn't that how that one ends?
Yeah, yeah. Was it Bill Murray?
Oh, was it Murray
Might have
or
been.
who was the leading guy? It
I
wasn't
thought
Candy. Wasn't
it was
maybe it's not Bill.
Steve Martin. Was that his name? Steve Martin?
It might be Martin in that one. Then
Was it Martin and Aykroyd?
Aykroyd's in it for sure. I just don't remember who it's darker hair. I thought that's why I didn't think it was uh, Steve, but
Yeah, too
I don't
much.
remember.
Oh, it's Chevy Chase. That's who it was.
Was it Chevy Chase?
It was Chevy Chase. Yeah,
Wow.
it was Aykroyd and Chase. That's who it was.
I would not have said Chase in that one. For some reason.
Speaking of Chevy Chase, you gotta bring up Caddyshack.
Well, I mean,
Or National Lampoons.
yeah. So that house is just up the road from me, not too far, about an hour, 2 hours away. The house that they filmed Animal House in is still there.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
how. I don't know how much, what condition it's really in. I've not seen it, but I hear it's still there. It's a place you can go. And the Goonie house, the guy that just bought the Goonies house,
Oh, the Goonies.
has put it up as a place you can actually go again and see. And the neighbor it's funny. The neighbor next door is pissed about it, not happy about people coming into the neighborhood to go to that. And the person on the other end of her is like, hell yeah, that's awesome. So she's got a big sign up that says no Goonies or something like that. And then the other neighbor has a sign that says screw her, hell yeah, Goonies or something like that. Like it's a whole thing going on up there in Astoria right now. It's every now and then she makes the paper because she's really not happy about it being next door. And the people that bought her are like, we don't care. It's our property. You
Yeah.
dick.
If she were smart, she'd put a parking lot in and charge for it. You know, get more people to come see the house.
Facts. Well, that place is cool. I've got a buddy who lives up in Astoria. And so they've got that house from Goonies there. The rock wall that Free Willy jumps over at the end of Free Willy, that's
Yep.
there. The
Oh,
little
really?
levee or dike or whatever you call that, that little deal is all in
Yep.
that town. And then there's some cool freaking forts, man. Like the military dumped a lot of money into forts, thinking that the Chinese or the Japanese were going to sail submarines up the Columbia River. So there are gun emplacements all through the mountains in the mouth of the Columbia
Oh,
that
wow.
That's pretty
you
cool.
you can go find them. A lot. The majority of them have been all discontinued. There's no guns in them and whatnot. But the ramparts are still there. Some of them have old guns that are still there on the Washington side. Some of the forts still
Yep.
have artillery like there that you can go look at. But it's wild. I mean, if you ever get the chance to go check out the mouth of the Columbia, it's pretty cool little thing.
That's pretty cool. Speaking of old houses, have you ever gone to Universal Studios backlot tour?
No.
And okay, so when you're on the tram, you get to see the Psycho House up on the hill, right?
Okay.
But if you go during Halloween, what you do is they'll take you to the backlot tour and they'll put you on the tram and then it'll break down and then you get to walk through all these different sets and you get to go right up to the Psycho House. I put my hand right on it. It was awesome.
Oh, sweet.
That's BA.
And you're there at
CP, I'm
night.
coming, bud. Oh, I'm sure they've got all kinds of creepy shit going on at night there.
Oh, they had like people roaming around with chainsaws, like no chains on them, but chasing after people and pig mask face. And it's if you ever get the chance, go do Universal Studios Halloween nights. It is at least when I went, it was phenomenal. It just they shut the park down for an hour or two, and then they reset everything and put all the Halloween stuff in place. And there's haunted houses, there's concerts, there's all sorts of things going on. It's pretty epic.
How much does that cost though to go
Well,
down
the
there?
same as the normal park fees for the day.
See,
Uh,
I have a hard time spending that kind of money to go there with all inclusive, like tropical hotels are the same price.
I'm
sure,
with you.
but to me that is tropical.
Hey, well, you're not wrong. It don't take much south of where you are to be tropical. How
Hey,
was your
dude.
dinner date, dudes?
It was dinner.
What'd you get?
Nothing good.
Oh, well, that's thoroughly disappointing.
Always.
Do you have that a lot when you go out to places and you're just like, well, there's another place that I'm disappointed with and we'll just try not to come
So-
back to again?
That's everywhere. And it's because I cook better for myself than what I can buy 99% of the time.
I would go with that too, but I'm lazy sometimes, so then that lowers my,
True.
I'm willing to take a lesser meal because I don't feel like making the meal that I want to make for myself because I know what that entails. But then it gets to a point where I'm just so disappointed as I should just suck it up and make my own food.
Who was talking about Iowa?
Well, Fox was at one point, I think, or Bulldog was.
We've been talking movies for a while, dudes.
Yeah, actually,
And
yeah.
looks like somebody brought
Jared-
up Field of Dreams. Yeah.
You can't go and say, yeah, Field Dreams. And then poof, you showed up.
Field of Dreams. I was in
We've-
Iowa.
We've been on movies for a while.
Oh, we're all Iowa people are showing up. Jeez. look at this.
Iowa, and they all just
Look at
poof,
that.
we're here.
Well, now it's a party.
No dudes is on.
What's up, big guy?
Hello, Mongrose. Hello, Jim. Hello, Wasted Talent, Ryan.
Hey.
Going on, CP?
I apologize for not coming, jumping out in you last week.
Oh, you guys, you're good, man.
I just rolled out. I didn't really say anything.
No, we had a bunch going on, man. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I did. I was helping a guy fix his truck, so I just I showed up at his house. I was driving up to you on the way, so. And
Oh, yeah.
I never really did say hi to Jim last week, so I feel bad.
I'm good. buddy.
I was never a giant Field of Dreams fan. I'm not a
I don't
big
think I
baseball
ever-
guy.
Watched it all the way through.
I can't say that
What?
I've been all the way through either.
What?
I know. You're going to have an Iowa showdown here now. Hold on,
Dude
let
just said that he's never watched field of trees, all the
There we
way
go.
through.
Are you
And
gonna
he's
make
from
him?
Iowa?
Are you gonna make him leave the state? CP, is that a thing now? He can't stay.
Here's the sad part. I've actually been to the place where it was filmed, but I've never actually watched it all the way through.
You've got to be kidding me. I can't even believe it.
I'm not a baseball guy, so
Yeah, I can see that. If you're not a baseball guy, I'm a baseball. I grew up playing baseball, so
I mean,
Oh, that's what's
closest I've ever gotten to baseball is like Angels in the Outfield. That was about as close as I've ever been to baseball.
Oh no, that's bad.
Oh,
Even I know that's bad.
on
Yeah.
that note, I just can't be here anymore.
Oh, he's just gonna leave. Oh
Wow.
man, he's not even American, and he's like that's
Hey,
that's
have
sacrilege.
baseball in Canada?
No, but seriously, I gotta go. Have a good one, guys.
All right, Mongrels, have a good night, brother.
Talk to you
Hey,
later.
man.
All right, I had a camera battery die, so I was
how
frozen.
this
Couldn't figure
works?
out why.
Got a new
I
lamp.
refuse to buy the stupid adapter that you tell me I
You
need.
gotta
So
buy
I,
it.
s- I swap batteries. That's what I do.
I'm just gonna send you it, and then
Nope. I
There.
refuse. I won't accept it. So CP, how have you been, bro? I was looking to see if you were going live last night. I didn't see it, and then I just ended up doing a little live in the shop.
yeah, no, I just don't. I don't really feel like doing lives that much anymore. I'm kind of burned out on live. 3
Yeah.
years straight.
That's a lot of time, long time to do lives, bud.
Not only that, it's Friday night, so it's really hectic. It became when I first started. I feel like I had a lot more time because it was during COVID, and then
Yeah.
like I wasn't as busy, and then now it's like, I got things to do, and it's kind of like I have to rush to do it, and then when I try to cancel something, people are like, "You're canceling because you got to do a live stream," and I'm like, "Oh." Yeah, people don't understand. There's no sympathy. They will not say, "Oh, your
No.
subscribers are not more important." There's no. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I just don't even. I don't know. Not
Ooh,
saying
bull.
they're over with. I just don't enjoy them as much as with all the time consuming. I enjoy the
Well,
live.
and that's like anything else. Once it becomes a job of a thing, and it's sucking the fun out of it. Is it as because you didn't start doing the lives because you wanted to do them as a job or a thing? They were fun.
Yeah. Well, they're still fun. That's why I'm here. But it just was not as fun when when you've got a lot going on and it becomes like
Yeah.
an obligation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No, I'm with it. I mean, we did the same exact thing here where we didn't do lives for a while, and I've kind of been I'm digging in doing the lives in the shop by myself, where I talk some and weld some because it's very just free form, you know.
Oh yeah, nonchalant. Yeah, no, I agree.
And
Well,
then
it
you do
should be.
these ones where it's a little more, you know.
Oh, I'll be honest with you. Your lives earlier this week, I just kind of went on in and put it on mute so I couldn't hear anything and just pushed my phone off to the side to just get you some view time.
I'll appreciate the views and the hours. The potato, I don't know what to do about the potato internet over there exactly. It's bad. I had one night, Tuesday was a good night. The video quality was decent, but I've done nothing different the last 2 nights, and it's been garbage. So
I must have missed that night.
yeah.
well,
it was-
I would actually check and see if the hours that you're filming in are high bandwidth hours for the area.
I mean, I'm sure you were talking about late evening, dinner time area.
Yeah.
But I'm still getting 25, 30 meg when I'm speed
Have you-
testing.
Let me ask you this: Have you tried live streaming straight off YouTube?
That's what I'm doing. Straight off YouTube from my phone, though, is what
Right.
I've. So I need to figure out how to do it from my computer with not the computer camera. If I was doing them from StreamYard, it'd be fine. I would just use the camera I'm using right now, which I like the camera, and that works well over there. We have seen that work, but I refuse to pay for StreamYard, is what it boils down to.
No.
So that's why I'm doing them straight off YouTube during the week.
Yeah, I understand that. I haven't had problems with internet. I'm sitting over here with 600 megs of upload, so 600 gigs. What
Well,
is it? I got that fiber life. I'm living that fiber life.
This guy right here, though, he's not wrong. I can't show you my welds in 4K. That's why you'll notice we yada past that when I film for the videos, boys.
That's not a bad gig right there. I like that too.
All you need
maybe
to know is they're
maybe
probably
that's what I
strong.
need to do on some videos, like do some welding videos and be like, look at me, I'm a professional welder. Like, check out these welds.
It's just
All out
potato.
blown out. What's
I don't
up
know why
now?
this camera keeps doing that every time. Focus.
It's
Yeah.
weird. It just won't. It's like kaleidoscope.
Yeah, you get the point. It's really good.
Yeah, it's strong. Trust
I
me.
used to make some shorts like that, wasted talent. And be like, record them on your live stream and be like, look at these welds, and like just put in the blurry marks in it, and be like, these are like master grade welds.
Just lay braille over it.
I am part of 2 different
1,000.
welding groups on Facebook, and that's literally everybody does on there is like, judge my weld, and they just post a picture of their weld. And 99% of the time, it's just somebody that's like the worst weld possible, and then they just put a picture up there.
The constant,
It's like Fox definitely agrees with you dudes that I make it strong with the extra wire. That's how my welds are strong. Yeah.
Just melt, and you just melt everything together, add a pound of wire, and it's strong.
43 pounds to be exact.
Yeah.
What
I
he
watched
said.
him. It's in there.
Yeah. Oh no, that's that's from the welding this week. He's been there every day.
Yeah.
Eric, what is up, brother? How are you doing? These guys out here killing the Wednesday night game for him and Old Narcs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're running
I
the
think I
Dragon
saw that.
Drive. Yeah.
they're going deep in the Dragon Drive.
Yeah.
That's the hot topic is coming out. Dragon Drives are all the rage this year.
Yeah,
time.
it's been building for a while. I want to do a Dragon Drive one day. I want to do it in luxury, but dudes keeps trying to do it with like some kind of scumbag together. Like,
Hey.
let's build a car at the last minute and then drive it around.
Buy a limo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what it was.
He
You
just
wanted
did
to
buy a
buy.
limo.
You want to buy the most jalopy freak. I can smell
it
that
looks-
limo from here.
Yeah,
I don't
thought
see
it
how.
on it.
I don't see how you're going to tell me a G35 with a blown engine is a bad idea, but that limo and a drag week is a good idea. I don't see how that works.
I think it's a great idea. Dudes, I'm in with you. I'll do it.
I think.
I think
I'll
Here's
go-
my
I'll go
idea.
I told him as long as it doesn't stink so bad I can't get in it, I'm down to do
And
it.
We
here's-
should get front wheel drive limo, and
There
then
you go.
engine swap the
Oh,
rear,
shit.
so we can
What
put it in
about the-
neutral and just free spin the rear, and then have a bigger motor in the rear and shut off the front motor, and then race it with the rear motor.
Why not just find a Tornado, stretch it, so you don't have to mess around with the front wheel drive part, and then stretch it and make it like a redneck limo?
It's
What is
already
that?
redneck.
Jesus. Well, I feel like we're going for redneck limo. We just get a bus.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think they'll be too happy about that going on drag week. There's definitely going to be some tracks. They're going to be like, listen, fella, you know,
Well, I guess that depends on how big of a bus we get.
short
Oh,
bus
so-
might be all right.
I was actually looking at a 1963 Chevy short bus.
This is why I brought that up.
Yeah, a camper. I sent that to you,
'Cause,
didn't I?
you sent it to
Yeah.
me. That's why I just said bus. That was where I was going
Yeah.
with this.
It's already
No, 'cause
partially
that-
converted.
That thing with a 12 valve could shit and get down a track. I mean, there was that one guy who did drag week, or one of the ones, Rocky Mountain might have been, with I think he has Chevelle with a 12 valve in
There was a
it.
guy with a
4L80
body
behind
Chevy
it.
too.
Duramax.
Yeah.
The one has Duramax. The Chevelle has the Duramax. I think the
Was it a
blue-
Duramax? Okay, that's
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
knew it
the
was
Chevy
some
pickup
diesel.
has a 12 though.
Yeah, one of
Yeah,
them.
the one, the red and white, or the orange and white truck that got smashed by the state trooper.
Yep,
Yeah, he's
smashed
running
by
a
the state
12.
troopers.
What was
Oh,
that guy's
that's.
name?
It's been wrecked 3 times.
Yeah.
in 2 years.
I remember seeing a thumbnail for that.
Oh yeah. He's the most accidents on drag week so far on that on those
And the
events.
truck was stolen. Like they stole the whole truck and trailer, and he recovered it, but it was all messed up when he got it back.
Yeah, that whole deal they did on 350 or what?
1320. That's where I saw the thumbnail for it.
Yeah,
I watched the whole thing because I'd
Good
seen the
video to
truck
watch.
race, but it was a good video.
yeah, it was a good video. They did a couple good videos. They did another guy in Omaha who's just like he must have stupid money, and he just had he has
One
a
of
big
those.
shop. Did you see that one too? on 13.
More millionaires per
No.
capita in Omaha, Nebraska than anywhere else.
Oh yeah, there's a ton. I know a bunch of guys over there, and trust me, I don't know where they get
There
their money
is-
from, but they're
There's
dumb.
zero way I would do a drag and drive in my Z. That thing would never make it.
Yeah, she'd be shelled out in the first 1,800
There
miles.
is no effing way it makes it through 2 tracks. Something
no
falls,
faith in this vehicle.
No, something falls off, something breaks. Listen, that thing is to be looked at and driven not too far away from something that can pick it up, because it's always had she's always had issues.
Shit.
I like the
That's
limo
awesome.
idea, but you gotta do it with tuxes.
Gotta do with what?
Tuxes, having tuxes.
Oh,
You gotta
Oh,
wear.
yeah.
God. I swear,
out in Texas.
I swear. I'll
The
tell you
most
what.
uncomfortable part of the whole trip.
No. If you do it, if we get the limo, we got to do the Dumb and Dumber tuxes.
There you go.
Oh,
The blue and
Top
the
hat.
orange and the top hat and the whole fucking thing, bud.
I'm
Take
telling
off
you.
the
Because
Landau
I will,
roof.
I will,
Put a
I will
third
get,
Landau roof
I
there.
will, I will get out of the limo in the back and line you up in the tux.
And then I'm not kidding. And then I'm
And-
not kidding.
yeah, because we won't be too fast. I should be able to get in the back and ride in the back for the. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that might actually be something.
I'm telling you, dude. Limo is like you would literally make every video on 1320. You would be,
He's not
and
wrong.
you might win the trophy for having the most fun. I mean, there's
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of
because
benefits to
at
it.
that point we have a limo, so it's just fuck off out the back. Like we go, we make our run, and then we spend the rest of the day fucking off with the limo.
Yeah,
and
we don't care
and
about that
hang-
run.
No.
We ran.
We want to be the first person down the track at 25 seconds or whatever every day, so we can just fuck off the rest of the day and then head towards the whatever.
Best
yeah.
average, you know.
Yeah.
And you have to like make it look under the hood, like maybe wrapping some tinfoil around stuff, and like add like
Oh.
nitrous stickers
Yeah, I
under
was
the
gonna
hood
say,
and stuff.
yeah, I'm not opposed to putting nitrous down the throat of it, like on the last day to try and get like a good number. Like blow it up, we'll leave it here. I don't even care.
Oh, dude, all cars for $1,000 or less and going on drag week. Oh my god,
Oh.
that could be kind of bad though too. Because
There is no way you could do a drag and drive event. Well, okay, that's
Yeah, you
I guess
could.
you could, but at what speed? I guess that's where you got it. What's our bracket? That would be the trick to pull off.
That'd be the slowest one out there.
It'd be a horrible race to
Basically.
watch. Like, go,
I mean,
go.
my
Are we
Subaru,
still
I got-
racing? Go, okay.
I got like $360 in my Subaru, and it's better. I could drive it on every drag and drive event and take it to it, but it would just be miserable. People would literally
Yeah.
there'd probably be people that are going to say, "Listen, can you please just leave the track?"
Well, yeah.
right
At what point? At what point are you turning it into lemons? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
of drag racing, essentially.
Yeah, they'd have to
Well,
put them
there's
like,
a
I
cap
don't
on
know.
it now, isn't there?
For
There's
lemons
something
or
out
for?
now, isn't there? Like 350 cars or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure they're getting to the point where they're going to have to cap because you're never going to get through the fields at some of these
No.
places.
Yeah. Like, even if
But,
you're
I mean,
running them
at
all
the
day,
other-
everybody only get one pass.
But at the end, well, here's the thing though. You need to make the first day just a full day of drag racing, and the field will reduce itself.
You know what?
Yeah.
How about we just start our own drag and drive event where it's no car can be under 10 seconds.
I mean,
Over.
your problem is going to be,
You'll have a whole bunch of cars right at 10 seconds.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
what
yeah,
about
you just have a lot of guys tuned.
what
for-
about price? We put it like duct tape grab, like the duct tape. I like the duct tape
Yeah.
grabs. I really do. That's
I
pretty.
do,
It
too.
looks like a lot of fun because there's a lot of people just having fun, and that's really what's cool.
Well, I
about
mean,
it.
that's like any test and tune night is going to be like that. You go to test and tune nights, and everyone's, you're cutting the tree and trying to hit your number on a normal test and tune night.
right.
The fun part of any of these drag and drive events are the hanging out and driving between all of them.
Right.
It's not the dragging at the strip necessarily. I mean, for the 5-6 people that are competitive to win the thing, I'm sure that is the whole deal. But for everyone else, it can't be the dragging can't be the deal.
No,
It's
there's,
got to
there's
be
quite a
everything
few
else.
people that seem like they're pretty serious about the. I would say there's more than 5 or 6 people that are competitive. I mean, there's several.
Well, I think at the end of the day, after two tracks, there's only 5 or 6 people that are actually in it. You know what I mean? God damn it! Would you just focus?
Focus,
Jeez.
fella.
Focus,
Some of
man.
you-
Focus.
Some of you are freaking me out, man. But you know what I mean? Because like every one I've ever seen, it's normally what, that white Camaro and that green Mustang, and then Cletus bouncing around.
Yeah, but
Any
it's
of the
changed
Dragon
up.
Drants.
Now it's that. Now it's that. Well, now there's different guys in different classes, but I mean
Well,
there was.
yes, but you're talking about the big boys that are winning the overall. It's like I
I
said, the
watched a lot of
Rock.
the I watched a lot of the other classes though. I guess maybe it's just me because I pay attention. I like there was a Chevette that was there with a 4.3 last year.
Ooh, I
That
I
was
heard
pretty.
about
I
that
mean,
thing.
I always look for the oddball stuff. Granted, like there's that John Deere tractor truck. It's kind of fun to watch, but I mean, like that's the thing where the Duck Creek drags, I think, would make it interesting because you're going to see more cars, maybe like that Chevette and that John Deere tractor and these oddball
Yeah.
rigs. You know what I
Well, and I
mean?
think the oddball rigs are where it's at. Like I remember the first year Stapleton went and ran with the that Cadillac, the Escalade, with like 1,700 horsepower or whatever that thing ended up having, and everyone was just like, "What?" Like this dude takes a full size Escalade out and runs. I think he was running 11s, 10s, or something out
Yeah,
of that, which for what that thing is a lot.
yeah. That LSX motor, and it was an LSX in the
Yeah, LSX twin turbo. Like if he had that in a chassis of a car that wasn't, 27,000 pounds, he probably could have
He's
went
pretty much
fast.
all that dropped off about that content too. He's been doing nothing but NASCAR stuff.
Well, he moved into a NASCAR shop, the outback of a NASCAR shop. That's where his shop is.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
know, but
shop.
it's he can't
He's,
kind of
I think he's one of those where he's in NASCAR country and has NASCAR content, and so that's the content he's putting out, type of thing.
crazy. Yeah, he switched from drag racing and stuff. Like he built that Bentley. I literally, what drives me nuts about people on YouTube is when they do stuff like that. He did that Bentley and got me all roped into this thing, ripped it completely apart, spent like $100,000 on this car, and then nothing. And that just irritates me to no end because I've been waiting for months,
So
years.
you're all invested in this project, and it's like, nope, you'll never see it. You know who
Dude,
else gets people invested in projects and then never edits videos and puts those up?
who's that?
Oh, he knows.
Oh,
He knows. He knows. He knows who he is.
one video isn't so bad, but when you do a 3-part series or 4-part series,
Yeah.
I bought into it.
The parking lot parties. That's what I'm. And see, that's where I think the limo would be the king of the parking lot
Oh,
parties.
absolutely,
Like I
absolutely.
think. Who was it? Yeah, drown the track with music playing. Fuck it, yeah. Oh, the ice cream van is awesome. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
What is it? It's Tom Bailey's, I think, is who
yeah,
owns the
yeah.
ice cream machine, right?
Ice cream and hot dog man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They were all. It was. I watched Alex Taylor. She got into the 6 seconds. She had a 6 second average at
Yeah.
60.
Well, so Sick Week is I mean, let's face it, Sick Week is the big boy. That's where they go fast
Well,
down
hot rod.
there.
Actually, hot rod power. Or isn't hot rod drag week? Isn't that the big one? It's like
So
Yeah.
Drag Week is, but I don't think they have the fastest average though. I don't know. You have to look up. I guess
that's where Tom
Eric
Bailey got the 5 second record was on drag week. Now
was it
he's never
Drag
done
Week?
it on Sick Week. Yeah, he's never
Well,
done a
no,
5 second.
he's never finished his own fucking event yet. Yeah, which goes to show you. I mean, these dragon drives, especially if you're competing at the level that
Oh
Tom
yeah,
and Cletus and these guys are, just finishing in a car. I mean, Mullet was a strong contender, and this year, Sick Week ate that thing up.
yeah. Oh yeah, and then also Steve Morris.
Oh,
Got
I
it
think
up.
what
Huh?
you need is a band of lovable misfits driving their pieces of junk
Right.
from event to event at Sick Week, and just doing burnouts for distance in the parking lot and
Oh
putting it
yeah.
all and just
Scum.
partying.
So basically a scumbag version.
Yes, yes, that just follows the actual group and
So
just
there you
does
go.
burnouts and shit.
So Lutz has the fastest overall, which I know for a long time there, Lutz was fast as fuck. Like before he went into the street raw or the what is it?
Street Outlaws.
Street Outlaws. Yes, before he was into that, he was going fast on the power tour and all of that. 'Cause I saw him. I met or knew of Steve through or Lutz through Roadkill, because I think wasn't the Monza with the leaf blowers done at his shop.
I think he
Oh,
was
no.
involved in that one, wasn't he?
I don't know. It was something like that. I thought is where you meet. That's the first time I learned of him was through some of the Roadkill stuff. I
That's
like
perfect,
his
Fox.
stuff.
Scum Week. I like it.
Oh my! I am onto something there.
Are you though?
If somebody was taking Dragon Dive events, I mean, they're not. I mean, obviously they're selling out. They're popular, but I think it would be fun to do something like that where you have something where it highlights just average. Like I feel like Dragon Dive events were kind of like that, but now they're taking over as this like
Well, it's
per
like
month.
any other racing. You're going to get guys that
Yeah,
will come in
it's
with money and want to go
come
fast.
buy
and
my wares because my car was the fastest one here. They're
Yeah.
all chassis builders, they're all motor builders.
Yep.
What,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys remember the first Hot Rod Power Tour?
Yeah.
I think it was the first. It was either the first or the second one. Carcraft did the anti tour at the same time. I mean, they got beat up by Peterson Publishing for doing it, but they did the anti tour, and the anti tour was just a bunch of homegrown hot rods just going on a cruise somewhere. So
Yeah.
Scum Week could work.
Scum Week totally, but like he said, there's already 23 different freaking weeks. I almost think what you do is you got to set up Scum Week where you change the rules. Like you go to a Drag and Drive event and make your own freaking rules. You know what I mean? You use their infrastructure and then you do your own trophy.
I would like to see the duct tape drag collimate into a drag week. And the other thing is, I think I would like to put a cap on it, as far because I don't, like that way you get more serious people in on it. You know, what I mean, like the serious people are going to be there.
Well,
If you don't put,
I think instead of the big trophy being for the fastest average of the week, the big trophy needs to be for the fastest average for the cheapest car that you can actually
there you go.
prove. You
Well,
know
yeah.
what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
wanted to,
That gets very finicky because there's a lot of people, even when they do the lemon races, they'll be like, "Oh, this car was donated to me, so it's free." And it's like,
yeah, but
like-
no one is going to believe that the crow was gifted to fucking Big Chief
Right.
for this race. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
you could write it on a piece of paper. Somebody would do it.
I would
That's
say
facts.
that the value doesn't need to be what they say. The value needs to be what you can value the car at. Appraise that at the time of drag race.
All right.
Like, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
well, so that's the problem though, because you're going to have to
Subjective
subtract.
appraisal.
Well, exactly. You're going to have to subtract anything safety related from it because you're going to have more than $500 in cage. Because if you want to go 10 seconds, which, like he's saying right here, 10 seconds was the old fast. It's not now. You got to have full cages and things that are going to cost more than the car's supposed to cost.
well, I would like, well, I don't know what to do. Somehow make the rules work. I think if you just,
Yeah, it's going to be
You
hard.
can go the old style claim race style, where if you win, someone can buy the loser can buy your engine for $3,000 because all you supposedly have in it is $3,000.
Oh,
that would be interesting.
that would
because
be.
then if you got 10 grand in your engine, you're not going to want somebody to claim it for $3,000.
Dragon
Yeah.
claim.
Scum Week with the dragon claim. Oh,
Yeah,
I like
at the end of the week, the top guys they have to forfeit their motor for sale for X amount of dollars.
X amount of money. Yeah, everyone decide. Whatever. Let's. You can put a 3 because that's where you do because the motor's where. Well, so you put a limit on motor, what you can spend on motor, and then you can spend whatever the fuck you want on chassis.
Yeah, because you see, I would try my best to have a really fast $1,000 engine, so that somebody buys it for $3,000 and I make $2,000.
There you go.
That would be well. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to do that, turbos and junkyard bottom end LSs, and you could do something there.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then you make it just on the motor. The motor, your motor has to be whatever the number is. The chassis can be whatever the chassis is. The trans can be whatever the trans is. But at the end of the day, anyone could buy the motor out of your car, and you have to sell it if somebody wants it at whatever the price is. That would fix that.
And they got
guys. Then you have guys, trying to figure out ways to to put a lot of nitrous to it and not blow it up.
But that's why the weak makes a. That's why
Well,
the make.
that's the beautiful thing about it. I mean,
Yeah.
It
Oh,
doesn't matter.
this.
That's what I mean. Football players take steroids. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, any type of competition, everybody's always looking for an edge.
Yeah, but I
So
mean, this works too, because at the end of the day, if you're pushing that stock or as stock as possible, because you could build a pretty stout LS for $2,000. You could stud it and
100 horsepower, 10-speed automatic fan for 10 years. Yeah,
Setup
but
is
they only
everything.
go 60 foot. Every
hey,
10 years, they're only going to go 60 foot really fast.
hey, if it's the set,
Like that's going to be out of RPM really quick. It's going to sound like dirt bike at 8-10 years. I
oh,
heard guys say that like 456s you can't take what is it 456s down a quarter mile because they'll stretch them out.
I got
uh,
480 rear gear in a vehicle I just bought.
Okay,
well, but you have a 10 speed. That's why you're able to get
Yes.
away with that. Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, so with a 4-speed transfer? Yeah, you'd have to go with a 10-speed, I guess. But
Yeah, if you want a 4-speed, all it does is get your rear end really hot. So
right,
you start chewing up bearings. You start a 410 gear will actually do that.
yeah,
right.
yeah. That would be. I mean, that's an interesting idea, but you got to get. There's a lot of people that need to get on board, and I don't
I
think you could do a Rocky Mountain amount of like 3,000. What do they do? It's less than 3,000 miles. How much is Rocky Mountain for like mileage on the vehicles?
Well, here's the deal: you do it in Tulsa area where there's a lot of drag racing community in
Yeah,
Texas. You start it there and run around that area, and then you migrate it to the next. That's what I feel like they did with Drag Drive Week, anyways. Is they've
it
basically
is.
culminated it around a drag racing community, and then you start moving it around after it builds loyalty.
Yeah,
You know
once
what
it
I mean?
builds its own thing. Well, and that's going to be the deal with all these drag and drive events, like Eric's saying, growing in popularity. Is if you're going to bring another one to the market, what's going to be a thing? What's going to make people come to
How about this
yours?
too? I like the idea of being able to camp instead of going to hotels with the Dragon Drive. But what if they make it so you have? How about a Dragon Drive where you have to tow your camper down the track? Right?
Oh,
That would get shut
wow.
down after about the fourth camper. They just let loose all over the track.
Yeah, just freaking camper just explode
Tracks would be
down
like, we don't want you here.
yeah, because you know the campers are going to be the biggest pieces of junk.
That's rear bearings gonna go out.
No one gives any crap about the campers. It's like, do we even sleep in that?
Exactly.
No, I sleep
The whole
outside.
point. It's just these total carnage.
No, thank you.
Safety equipment. I think 10 days, 10K to build cars. Oh, so those builds are cool, but that just reminds me of the Volvo build, and that makes me go, ugh.
Well, yeah, but there again, that bill would have been a lot better if everything would have been there and we would have known what we needed. I mean, that's somebody that's doing a 10-day build.
But even on a 10-day,
even
with all that stuff squared away, all of the things you don't know about, don't remember, or don't think about that come
you
up,
wouldn't know about it.
I don't. That
you
I don't
pretty
think
much
you can
build
do.
that car and then take it apart and then build it in 10 days.
Listen, well, okay,
That's what they do.
Still to this day.
Well, if you're
And
talking
you
about
guys
doing
actually did
overhauling,
it. You guys actually did it live. That's the thing is that thing should be like
wow.
revered. I can't believe 1320 didn't do a video on you guys for that.
For
You
what?
know?
Oh, well, we didn't do anything with the car. That was the problem.
Yeah.
We built
The
a car that
went to
didn't
some
go
events,
do
it might get
anything.
some publicity.
Yeah,
Does he still have it?
yeah. I hear he still has it. He says he still has it, but I haven't seen it.
But not racing it or driving it.
It's not working right
It
now. He's
has
got
problems.
So the problem is the car always had problems. We knew that going
Yeah.
into it.
a
We knew it
abandoned
wasn't.
car.
It was a. Yeah, but it was a free car, and it was a car that was going to. He talked about it. He wanted to put air suspension or something on it, and like all projects, he dumped probably $4 or $5 grand total into that thing, and then it was broken. And I can see how you could be like, I just can't dump more money into this right now. You know what I mean? You know how it goes.
Yeah, you don't do a project. Well, that's why I don't finish my project because you don't start a project if you can't afford to finish.
What are
A
you
lot of
talking
guys
about?
Yeah,
do it.
that's
We
what I'm
all
telling myself.
we
Wow.
we all start projects we can't afford to
Sorry,
finish.
I just literally. I realize.
Yeah, I picked up another project this past week, so
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're
If
all
you
looking at
guys
more
have
projects.
finished projects, though, you guys have running and driving cars, though. Like, if it's your only car, well,
Okay, we have cars that will run and drive. That's not his. Cletus has got tons of cars over there running around too. But yeah, that's.
I don't know.
I
I don't.
think I would love to have that thing, but I don't need a freaking another project either,
Uh,
bro.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not one to start too many projects, and I just don't. I just won't do them. If I don't have all the money complete to do it, I just won't do it. Serious.
speaking of projects, how's your 65 coming,
It's
CP?
setting. Huh? It's setting. It holds down a lot of the ground,
Oh, good.
and then I've been gathering parts slowly. And
Nice.
I actually talked to dudes about this. I
Another
think
5 days to
I
fix
think
it.
I'm kind of sold on this, but I think I'm going to do a carbureted 5.3.
Ooh, little carb action, huh?
Yeah. Well, the intakes for them are dirt cheap.
Oh yeah.
They got valley covers are dirt cheap, and it's like surprisingly. And then not only that, I hated distributor anyways, so this worked out for me by leaving it coil pack and then running a carburetor and air fuel ratio sensor. And I just feel like it's a nice little deal. Not only that, they make pretty decent horsepower still with a carburetor. I feel like
Oh, they
you
can,
really
and you
get.
can rev them out, and you can do some of the carb systems. I mean, shit, old Jack stand with them some nitrous and running through on what he was doing with those little motors back when he first started off with Cletus.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a cam in it. A lot easier to tune. Uh, I feel like without a dyno, maybe, or with a carburetor, than having to. I don't know. Maybe it's probably not easier to tune, really, but to get all the
Oh,
horsepower,
that
I'm
is
gonna
that
probably
week
tune
this year.
it on a dyno. But I don't know. It seems like a bet. It First of all, it's nostalgic for me. The thing is I hate the fact of thinking that I'm gonna put a uh, fuel injected motor in that 65 when my original truck was a 327 carbureted, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
There
But
you go.
I don't
I mean,
want.
at the end of the day, it comes down to what you want in a rig. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that you can now reliably go back to carburetor on these things is kind of cool.
Well, that's just it. 5.3 brings the best of both worlds. It's more reliable than a 350 or. Uh, and people argue with me. They'll probably literally set the people
I
off.
was
But
gonna say that dude, right up there is gonna argue with you about that statement. Raw, yeah, hey, there he is.
well, I mean, it may not be. Well, first of all, the Vortec was a big, huge point of
I'd
why
say
the
go get a
350.
99 Vortec 350. They're pretty indestructible on their own. They don't make
Yeah, but
power,
they
but
also have a lot of problems with fuel related.
oh, you just throw that factory
Brake
stuff away. You go buy
braking.
yourself
Yeah,
a different spider injector.
yeah.
Good to
There,
go.
it's like, oh, that motor's great if you just replace everything.
No,
They
just a spider injector.
did.
Yeah, a pretty shitty spider injector.
That's what happens when you try to fuel inject a 350. It just,
At
in
about
my opinion,
200,000 miles, you just throw that factory spider injector away. It's
yeah.
not no good.
So what I'm thinking is I don't like the leaking main seals of a
Director.
350 and all that stuff. Where the 5.3 doesn't have that
True,
problem.
5.3 has way better gasket surfaces. They definitely improved that on the LS side.
Right. So
Yes,
that's
Fox,
what.
I think that's a great idea. I had a hopped up VW Sanrail for a while. Had a
I
turbocharger. It was great. A lot of fun.
I have a 2100 motor in a sand trail up in a garage in Washington State that I never
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
finished.
be perfect. That'd be perfect for you for drag and drive. You got to just rip that thing out and do it.
So it's my dad's rail. My dad
yeah.
bought this rail years ago. It sat forever. When I was in Washington State years ago, I took it up there and it was a garage project, and I never finished it. It's still in a garage up there.
You should ship it to Virginia.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty scumbagged.
How many
It's
cars do you
scumbagged.
have, Jim?
I don't know, over 20.
That's
Oh,
all you
that's-
know.
The proper answer.
The
Son,
problem.
Is that-
I picked up a 63 Chevy panel earlier this week, so
Eric, have a good night, brother.
I gotta go get it. Gotta go
For
get it
sure.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
gotta
You let me know
have
whenever you want to get on, brother. We'll get you on. Sorry.
You have a hell of a collection. I know that. Like you got a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And there's an event here that happens monthly once the weather gets nice. It's kind of like Cars and Coffee, only it's called Cars and Cigars, and it's at a actual normal time of the day in the afternoon.
Where are they
And
doing that out up there now?
they do Cars and Coffee is still done at Katie's in Great Falls,
Okay, yeah.
but Cars and Cigars is done all over Ashburn.
Okay.
On one Saturday afternoon a month, and they pull in just tons and tons of cars. But the event organizer of that's like, yeah. So what are you bringing this year to Cars and Cigars? I'm like, I don't know. Beat me, maybe my 2021 truck that I drive all the time. Maybe that.
something with air conditioning this year, maybe.
So we
Yeah.
do.
So I don't know. I'm kind of working towards getting the 65 C10 roadworthy. It's getting much closer, but I don't know. I might just drive that 48 Cadillac. I've had it running the other day. Thing runs great.
I was gonna say you've been talking about that one a bunch. You said your shop teacher was trying to freaking buy that thing off you.
Yeah, he thought about it, and then he was like, "Oh no, I really need a daily
I'm getting kind of old.
driver. 48 Cadillac's not really a daily driver." I'm like, "Yeah, no shit." No shit.
Big block. What are you talking about? It's durable.
It's durable.
Maybe.
So we do. They have what they call a cruise night in this area. So all summer, it's actually starting next month. But they start the first one. So every Wednesday is a different location for pretty much until September.
You're gonna do snowmobiles next month?
Yeah, right.
We just got 6 inches. Did we get any snow up there? We got 6 inches here.
We got a lot of sleet, so it only ended up being about 2.5 inches.
Unbelievable.
I finally found
A
my
lot of ice.
grass today. It all melted today. All the snow is gone finally.
I know you
Unbelievable.
didn't have to look that hard to find your grass.
The people in the far north have no snow.
It's
And
different
down
grass.
here in southern Iowa, and I have 6 inches of snow. What is wrong with this world? I'm telling you.
It is.
We do need
So I
some
had to go.
consistency around here.
I had to start this live late because I had to go save the general that was up on the mountain, and I thought by as dry as everything is down here, or melted, I guess, that once we got up there it wouldn't be much. You come around a turn and there's no snow, and all of a sudden you go into the shadow of the hill and there's 2 feet of snow. Just
Shadow of the hill.
yeah, was less than ideal.
All right. So let's
Well-
talk horrible ideas and projects.
Ooh, I like it. What do you got? Well,
Yeah,
I already want. We already talked about my G35 that
That was
you
a
say
horrible
is a
idea.
terrible idea.
We all agree.
Alright.
It's a great idea.
Well, let's look at CP's take on this. CP 04 G35 sedan, or not sedan, two door.
Already ruined it with 04. Move on.
04, $1,000 blown motor.
Is that a Infinity?
Huh?
Infinity G35?
Yeah.
That's a great car for $1,000. That's a hell of a deal.
Wait, it gets better. I have 2 VQ35 motors in a garage for it.
Oh wow, yeah, you can't beat that then.
That's kind.
I bet they're not in a garage there.
No, well, they're in Washington. I need an excuse to go to Washington anyhow. It's just up the road.
Just
About
Yeah.
8 hours one
So what's
way.
the problem?
What's the problem with it? It has a blown motor.
No, I know, but other than that? What's the problem? You already got the motors for it, and it's a good deal, and the car's in good shape. Is it now?
I haven't gone to look at it yet. Yeah, I looked. It's got
Basing this off
200,000 miles
34
on
pictures.
it. It's got not good pictures. The interior is decent.
decently
What are you
ragged
planning on
out.
doing with it then once you get it?
I think I want to go offer the dude like $500 for it, and then to put a motor in it and put a sticker on it at like $6,000 and see what happens to it.
Flip it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't need it. I don't have any need for it, but I also don't have a need for 2 VQ35 motors sitting in the corner of a garage in Washington
Exactly.
State.
It sounds like you're just.
Sounds like you cut your
time.
losses. You go pick up those motors and you try to sell the motors to that guy who's selling the car.
I tried that before. It's been years since I tried that, but
You
I
could-
tried to sell
could
those
grab my
motors
fender
before I
too.
moved them. Grab your what?
You can grab my sand rail while you're there too.
Yeah, it's in the same garage. I also have a 78 El Camino stuffed in that garage.
What?
Yeah, I have some things in some places.
Well, I've noticed some of your videos. You have like these barns and buildings and all over these places, and I'm like, either these are places of your stashing stashing stuff, or like you're not just
It's
randomly going to these places because they're new to you.
so I have a barn, a garage, and a house in Maryland, but I took all of the stuff from there, so I don't have any vehicles stashed there anymore. And then in Washington State, I have a 3-bay pole barn, and then a 4-bay carport, and then a 2-car garage. And the 2-car garage has the El Camino, the sandrail, both the motors, and a bunch of steel and a bunch of other stuff that I just didn't feel like moving back across the
You
country.
took boarding to a whole new level.
I do
Dude,
it
are
in
you up on
multiple
that level?
states. I do it
Yeah.
in multiple. At one point, CP, when I was in Louisiana, I think I had 7 or 8 vehicles in 3 or 4 different states at that point.
You have to license those in the state then that you're stored in?
Need license and
Licensing what?
So the vehicles that are all registered, were all registered in Oregon, and because of the military to keep that one registration, even though they were all over different parts of the country. The other vehicles, yeah, they're not registered. I mean, like the Subaru doesn't have registration yet.
Pay taxes? What?
Taxes. Well, I'm from Well, no. I'm from
You aren't
Oregon.
even titled in my name. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm gonna. What are you talking about? It's still signed from the whoever I bought them. Yeah.
Here's me. I licensed my project truck and put insurance on it to set in the driveway to do nothing.
Why?
Because I just had the feeling. I was like, my problem is that
It's
when
like
I'm
me.
going to get
I
ready
force
to do
myself to do it by just paying money I shouldn't be paying for.
well,
something.
that encourages me because I'm getting
Yes.
ready and I'm going to just get on this thing and you're going to see it just all come together in like a month.
Since
Because I
2014, since
I have
2014, I have been paying license and insurance on a truck that has not met the road.
I have my 87 El Camino has tags and insurance on it, and I think I've driven it once.
Yep, I keep telling myself I'm going to finish that project because I pay for it every year, and then I just pay for it to punish myself for not doing anything.
See, I know I will do that, so I won't pay for it because I know that's just throwing money away.
Yeah.
I have a hard time. I have a hard enough time with the Z, which is a running, driving car that I still don't go to the other place where it's stashed to drive it. Well, I can't drive it right now because there's literally 2 trees in the driveway that I can't get out of.
You've been talking about those trees.
Well, they're a really good security system. No one is stealing that car from that garage. This thing.
That's
Bad
perfect.
ideas.
Oh God, that fender is just
It'll buff out.
Man, bod.
what is that?
Well-
That thing's awesome. Who's that? Is that your new project?
It's one things.
I see zero issues.
That is his. I'm not buying any more cars this year. In fact, I'm not going to buy any cars in 2023. How far into 2023 did you buy that car?
Yeah, that's a
February.
driving car right there. I
He
love
made
it.
he made it to February until he bought this thing.
I mean, they said you give us cash, we'll deliver it, and I'm like, I don't even have to go get it. I mean,
Oh,
How much
that's
did
the
you buy it
best.
for? If you don't mind, if you don't want to say, you don't have to. But
oh no, we picked this this fancy job right up here for the total $300.
no way.
Yeah, and it was delivered. Like,
They ain't
that's-
got no motor in it though, does it?
no,
Okay.
This is
So
that's-
you
way
got-
too high.
You got that thing for free and paid for delivery.
Yes.
Yeah.
and the wheels and tires. And look at them; they're mint.
Oh, yeah, whatever. All I see is junk with junk.
Whole
Look at this
thing's
thing.
mint.
Look at this thing in the garage, just up on jack stands.
Hey,
like
don't
its
worry about
entire
that.
life.
It moved from jack stands in the driveway to jack
That's
stands
what
in
I'm
the
saying. Jack
We're
stands in the
moving
garage.
up
This
in the
dude
world.
bitched about him being on jack stands outside and taking up room in his driveway, and now it's in the garage doing the same thing.
Look at this is the pretty side.
Oh, hey, you know what? I've got a pair of
Is that an
chalks. Go back.
Omega?
It is an Omega. Go
I
back.
got a big hammer. You want to borrow it?
Oh,
Not
I
that's
think
exactly.
okay.
it's exactly
I-
how it works.
I have chalks that look just like those chalks
Weird.
right there. In fact,
What
it's
is-
almost
what
like I have the one that goes with that one and the one that goes with the other one behind it because they're not the same chalk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost
They are
like
different
one of
chalks.
each.
One's a heavy duty, one's a light duty.
I know. You know how I know that? Because I have the exact opposite of both of those two in my trailer.
Weird. Yeah, don't use the light duty one. You'll crush it.
I know. I have to watch that every time I pick it up and move it. I don't grab the wrong
You
one.
know when you pick it up, you're like, oh,
I know, but I don't know until I pick it up, and I'm like, that's not the right one.
weird. I wonder where those other ones went.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe those
yeah.
are the,
You could
maybe
have.
those are the ones that you lost when you were working on the Volvo.
No, he did. He brought them down, not the same of each one, and then left them, and somehow I ended up with them. I don't even know.
Strange.
He couldn't even be nice enough to give me a full set, like a real set. Hey, that thing is loud.
What kind of rims are those?
So those are Corvette or something. I don't know.
You say Caterpillar?
They're bright
They
yellow.
look-
They look like almost, well, from here
They
they
look like rally sports.
oh, those are Rally 2s.
Yeah.
And they are powder coated.
Oh, that's aggressive.
Too bad they didn't powder coat them brown. Then they would have matched. Should we?
Well, I'm sure the Corvette it came off was that color.
That thing, you know what that thing needs? That thing needs just a nasty big block in it, and it just needs to scare people.
I was
need
gonna
to
say, there's
look-
not a straight panel on the car.
No,
so it just
I
needs
think
to be
The deck
nasty.
would have been straight, but like the hole was all mangled out. The roof is dented to crap. It had hail damage real bad. You
They
can see it on the trim.
They're 14-inch, aren't they?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
No. 14?
15s?
They might be.
A
I
14
want to get
it could-
Scrooged with another set of 14s. I don't know.
Well,
Just weld
I
a
keep it
cage
clean.
for that thing and throw a nasty big block into it and
Really?
just scare people. Pull up to schools and rev it, and do burnouts and stuff.
So
Sorry, you can't come here with that in the school zone. It's too much of a
I
panty
have
dropper. Go
a
away.
mini 454s. I also have some pretty rowdy 350s that could go in there.
Would
and,
you tell me
we
you have
do-
many 454s, but yet the Chevelle still has no motor?
Well, that's because other people want me to build a 400 small block that I don't really want to build. But
Oh,
it's to
yeah, I
prove a
forgot
point.
about-
So there's like a pride thing
Oh, I
involved.
forgot about this. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
There's a pride and a point that means the project will never get finished because of it.
Potentially.
Yeah, all right.
Because there's like $5,000 that has to go into a motor that I don't even want to build.
Nope, just so he can be right. Literally.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just got to do things.
Right?
The 4 Mega.
So I do
Ooh.
have an Oldsmobile 455 lying around, which would fit right into it. But I have an 84 Oldsmobile Cutlass that I'd like to put that in. So can't use up all my good.
And that
455.
project is about 27 projects behind the project
Yeah.
that he actually wants to do that he's not doing.
All right, so hear me out on this one. How
This is
about
going?
a 403?
So okay. Funny
There you go.
story about that.
Oof.
I built an Oldsmobile Mega last year. It currently has a 403 in it now. 403s are a dime a dozen. They're easily built. I'm not saying they're a horrible motor. They got a lot of torque. But 403s have like, I don't know, something about a 403 just fundamentally I don't like.
I bought this Roar El Camino from this guy. It was it's like an 84 with a Monte Carlo SS front end on it.
Oh, full custom
And,
jobber.
And when I was picking it up, he was like, "Hey, I got this 403 engine in pieces. You want it?"
Yeah.
And so he drags this block out. It's had all of the machine shop work done to it. Brand new crank, brand new pistons and rods, and brings all that out, and then some heads as well that had been already redone, and they were whatever the good Oldsmobile heads are. I looked them up too. Yeah. And it's like, hey, you can just have all this stuff. So I have that motor sitting in my garage, and I'm thinking, how am I going to put this thing in?
Exactly. I mean, if I had it, that's what I'd be thinking too. Like, ugh.
Well, I did run across a jet boat, right?
I
ran
had a
across a
Oldsmobile
jet boat
story
that
too.
But
Don't
you used
do
to
it.
have an old 455 in it. I was like, 403,
Are you right down the
455.
road from me now? Like, what's going on?
I've heard this story already. Wait a minute.
It would work. It would be a perfect platform for 403.
My.
Either that or a Trans Am from
Let me tell you a
1979.
story. I don't know if I've told this story.
You told me this story, but that's
So-
why I laughed.
It wasn't that long ago, about 2 weekends ago, actually, that I had a guy swindle me into going and looking at some 455 Oldsmobiles that I was actually pretty interested just for this
Listen,
project.
this dude had such a hard on for this. Don't swindle him. He told him a false bill to get him down
He
there,
did.
but
So I drove.
this dude was all hard for going down to look
Yeah,
at these
because
motors.
here was the deal: you could get 3
Oh,
Olds
hey,
455s.
if you're gonna tell us a story, narrator voice. Yeah.
All right, so there I was. The ad said 3 455s. Now, the ad was interesting to me because I wasn't all that interested for 3 complete 455s. I was more interested in the fact that he started with 3 complete 455 Oldsmobile motors and a jet boat. And I went, wow, you've gotten my
That would have
attention.
got my
sir.
attention.
Jet boat. No real pictures. One picture of a complete motor laying on the floor of a garage with a Fiero sitting behind it. So also intrigued. Like, this guy has things. No speaking of motors being in boat, I should have caught on, but I didn't. Later, after talking to him again and again to try to set up a time, I started realizing, oh no, what if these are boat motors? And I don't really want boat motors because boat motors aren't good. They've been in the water in a bad way.
They've been in the water.
I went, finally got a plan together, went up there. As I pull in the driveway, there is a very, very beautiful, I don't know what you'd call it, like candy apple with a lot of sparkle, jet boat green. And I was like, oh, cool, jet boat trailer hooked to a really ratty old Ford. Looks like it's been inside because it does not look like it's been outside. And that's when he opened the garage door, and there was 2 Oldsmobile motors in what we'd call mini parts, just a stack of a couple heads and some pistons. Nothing put together, and they look like they were taken apart when I was born. So they were rusty. Like I don't know what you're doing with that. That's all bad. Those aren't parts. Then he goes on about, these are the K series heads. They haven't made these since 1975. I don't care. Those ones need to go back to Earth. So
Just broke this guy's heart.
I said, so
I
where's
know,
the complete
shitting
motor?
all over this dude's fucking dreams.
Where's the complete motor that you showed in the picture? Well, that's in the boat. That's why it's free. So I said, okay, let's go look at that. So we popped the lid on the little boat motor, and he said, yeah, it lost a lot of power, barely got up on the trailer. And you could look in here and tell the boat motor was half torn apart in the boat. So it's like, oh, so it's also broke. And so we kind of went, yeah, I'm not really interested in any of this. Have all these boat motors been in the boat? And that's when he's like, no, we took all those other motors apart and we were going to take parts out of them and put them in the broken boat motor. And then as the conversation went along, that's when he kind of slipped up and was like, oh no, these were ones that we blew up well in the boat. We tore them apart to figure out what we blew up. So it's like, okay, so you have 3 blown up boat motors and you want 300 a piece for them, and I take away your junk boat. It's like, no, thank you. I don't think anybody's coming here with $1,000 to take away your boat garbage. And I was very nice. I just said, no, thank you. I'll be going. And he just kept talking at me as I walked away, and I didn't look back. We just.
So let me ask you this: boat motors. What you don't like boat motors? I mean, granted, these ones were junk, but I heard you say boat motors were in the water. You've had bad experiences with boat motors?
Yes, I have.
Really?
So here's my fundamental issue with boat motors that I have run into. Rivers and lakes are full of a lot of aggregate. And when you go flying across said water that is being sucked into the motor and blown through everything and out the backside when there's sand and everything else going through it, it starts to make things very thin. And I've actually bought 2 separate boat motors that had overheating issues. And what we found out later is all the water jackets were much larger than they needed to be, and there wasn't a lot of metal left in there.
Do that on. I've had good luck with them. I bought them out of lake boats that weren't probably they weren't buying boat motors around here. It's like literally you can get more lucky because it's not like the Ozarks where they're using the boats all the time. Maybe you have more. Maybe they use boats more up there, but it's like they don't. These people take boats out like once or twice a year.
Yeah, Des Moines is a little farther from water. We have Storm Lake. A lot of people
Yeah,
go to Okoboji. But
I
I
can
think
see
it
that.
matters on what the boat is. I mean, if it's
Mhm.
a fast boat, that probably makes difference than a boat that just trolls around.
Well,
Well, I got
you could also run into reverse rotation boat motors as
Yes.
well. That's another problem.
Yeah.
I've actually seen boats for sale, inboard ski boats, where the starter went bad. I bought a new starter. It's bad too, and then the other starter I got is also bad. It's like, huh?
that.
Yep, sure is, because you're buying the wrong starter.
Yep.
Because that thing spins the other way.
Now,
Yep. Turns out.
Fox,
I've had a
a
couple of 350 Mercuries motors that were pretty badass. They actually, well, they're marine grade heads and stuff like that, and they actually had a little more power to them, so they transplanted well into a another vehicle. But then again, I never really thought about having problems with aggregate. I can see where that would be an issue, especially if you do get something that's been beat up pretty bad. Older stuff,
Well, boats. I've seen a lot of boats have issues with water jacket issues, like you're talking about. We used to have a cabin cruiser when I was a kid, and we'd go to lakes, Lake Mojave, and camp on the lake and blah blah blah. And I remember at least 3 people in the group of people that would go do that had water jacket issues where the boat was making milkshakes now.
Mhm.
It's a tricky beast.
yeah,
What's up, John? How's it going?
Well, it's kind of like a reverse, like what was it, Dodge that did that for a while, where left was right, and you couldn't put your lug nuts on because they were all left-hand threads.
Man, yeah.
Oh,
I actually have a
they
camper because of that.
did
Yeah.
that on those old Mopars. One
Yes.
side would
One
go
side.
the other. Yeah, and if
Because it was
you look
left-hand
on the
threads
stud,
due to engineered rotation so that the threads wouldn't loosen themselves, is what I
Right.
was told.
if you look on the
That was
stud of
dangerous.
those,
It says L.
if you look on the stud on that, there's actually a L stamped
Yes.
on it. So I always
So-
check when I'm dealing with a Mopar.
I didn't know that the first time. And I had a friend of mine, and he said, I got this Dodge motorhome, and it's got a 318 in it. He wasn't sure. He said it was a big block. He said if we could take the tires and wheels off it so he could sell them, we could have the motorhome. And he said he'd already tried a few times, couldn't get them off, and he had a blown out inside dual. And he went and bought himself a new camper, really didn't care about it. So he said, you guys can come get it and get the wheels and tires off. He said, you can have the camper. And I said, deal. I don't even care what it looks like. You said running camper.
Yeah.
So we go out there. We got a big old tip bed trailer. We're not even going to mess with it there because we tried. We tried to take them off. We broke a really nice breaker bar. And it was like, wow, something wrong with this. We're going to need like a torch or something. So we put her on a trailer, drag her an hour and a half away, burn the brakes up on the truck because we had no trailer brakes and the thing was heavy.
Oh.
And get her all back there. We're out there just beating on these lug nuts, heating them up, trying to get them off. My dad walks out and he goes, you know, there's a left-hand thread, right? Like, what? He goes, I figured you were going to just ruin some stuff until you figured that out. He said, I kind of already knew that when you went to pick it up.
What a dick.
Wasn't there another type that did that too, like a Studebaker or something like that?
I don't know.
I think there were probably a couple.
I know school buses do that because that school bus that John always talks about was reverse thread, and I figured that out really quick.
But the best part was he goes, look at the end of that stud. What does it say? We're like, it has an L on it. He goes, maybe that was a sign. I'm like, oh.
Did he just turn and walk away at that point?
Yep, he did.
I do love your dad. Sometimes the stories you tell me, I'm just like, God, that guy is great.
He's all about learning moments. Let me tell you what.
Oh yeah, on his terms.
I get that.
Yeah, on his terms. Like some of the stories you tell me, I'm just like, God, this guy is a savage.
But the worst part was, since we had really tightened most of them,
Oh, I
Uh,
bet.
to actually get them loose, we ended up breaking 2 of the studs. And it was just like, huh, well, they actually break better than they tighten. Weird.
Weird.
I had a friend who broke 5 studs off, all 5 studs off of one wheel before I showed up, and then I got there. He's like, "Ah, oh, this damn thing! I can't get them off." And I looked at the rear wheel. I was like, "I can get that off for you." And of course, spin it the opposite direction. He's like, "Wait, what the hell?"
Magic.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
reverse on these the most
I
part.
have the absolute worst
Oh,
story.
get the frick out of here, Fox. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Really? I've
I
never
hate
heard of
those
that, but I
locking
can believe that.
screws. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but that is terrible. Those things suck, period.
Yeah. Midwest death to those. I've drilled a lot of those out.
I never put I have a lot of, that's obsolete on this model that I say as I go through things, but those are literally obsolete every single time. They do not get reinstalled.
So I have a friend who does bad things to vehicles. And for a while, I repaired his vehicles, which was hard on me because he was very hard on them. But the
Yeah.
worst story he ever told me was I did a whole bunch of work to a caravan that they said, we're going to drive 6 hours away in this and then come back. And I said, good luck. It needs an alignment because I put a bunch of new front end parts on it so it stopped shaking violently. But you should probably go get that aligned. And they said, nah, we ain't got time for that. And I said, well, I eyeballed it and it's probably not great.
Yeah, hope you like new
So,
tires.
they had new tires. Well, new used tires. And they had a spare. So on the way they went. And on the way back, about 80 miles outside of town, they ended up losing the front tire. Well, they had a spare tire, but it had those nice Chrysler chrome capped lug nuts on it. You know, those ones that end up spinning and don't let you actually take the lug nut off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had taken them off and fixed a lot of things and said, you should probably replace those lug nuts because they're junk. You know, all warnings to the dread that they would now succumb to.
Oh,
And
no.
what ended up happening is they couldn't get one of the lug nuts off. So they literally drove the actual what was left of a socket or something they had onto it with a hammer, just really beating it up, and then stuck a breaker bar on it and just decided, hey, we're going to try to drive the vehicle forward against the breaker bar to get these loose.
Yeah.
And that worked on a couple of them. And then there was one they just couldn't do it. And they had to get this thing off. So they did the next best thing. They took out a drill and they started to drill the aluminum around the stud until the wheel could come off.
Wow.
And okay, wheel's off. Now we got to put the spare on. Well, funny thing about putting the spare on, boys, it also does not have the same giant hole you just put in the aluminum wheel.
Oh, no.
So they drilled another hole. So now we've ruined
Shit.
2 wheels. And we bolted it on with 4 lug nuts and we drove it the rest of the way home to then bring it to me and go, well, drilling this, we also drilled through the axle boot and a bunch of other crap and ruined the caliber and just lots of damage. And now we have to go get a wheel and a new tire. And like, what can you do about this? And I'm just
Nothing.
like,
This can't be fixed. Sorry.
yeah. Well, here's the best part.
The only way to fix this is to go back and get your mom to take birth control. So
they didn't want to spend money on a new axle, so they like bought this axle boot kit. Like, here, put this new axle boot on. And I'm like, there's so many more things wrong here. Like, all the sensor wire.
This
was
is
torn
why
off
I
of it.
don't fix things for people, man. This
Me
is
either.
horror stories.
This was the same guy that I told him his U-joints were out on his Dodge. And he called me about 6 months after I told him that. And yeah, he was on the side of the road. And he's like, my truck's making this horrible noise and it's not moving. I said, get out. Is the drive shaft hitting the ground? He's like, oh, it is. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
remember
here,
those new
slam
joints?
her into park. And I told him, okay, get underneath it, pull the drive shaft out, put in 4-wheel drive home. You're not that far. And we'll have to put, U-joints in it and probably get you a new drive shaft because that one's probably messed up. So he said, okay. And then he never talked to me for like 4 months. And I said, hey, man, what's going on? What'd you ever do to your truck? What do you mean? I said, well, you're going to get it fixed. He goes, you told me I could drive it. I'm like, no, I told you could drive it home. And he actually proved that like an 07 Dodge half ton is like probably one of the strongest transfer cases I've ever heard of, because he drove this thing for like almost a year with no rear drive shaft. And he's like, it does wicked front wheel drive burnouts when I pull a trailer. I'm just like,
He's pulling a trailer.
My God.
and then the best part was he got mad at his wife when the transmission and transfer case grenaded going down the interstate at 80 mile an hour. And he's like, I told her not to drive it on the interstate that fast. I'm just like, I told you not to drive that thing at all.
I can't believe she took it 80 miles down the road. I told her not to.
How dare she?
How dare she? Oh my God. You have some of the worst friends.
Yeah, that truck was bad. And then he had tranny put in it. He had all the stuff fixed in it. And then his son took it and like thought it was a drift truck and smoked it into a pole in a school parking lot.
Oh no.
V'd that thing so hard the front bumper was touching the clutch man.
Oh God.
That's when the truck finally died. He said, no more, we can't fix it. I said, good.
That's when the truck finally died. Oh.
Yeah, that's
Here's
when
the best part though.
That's when it was done.
He traded that truck and some other little crap. It was a 300C he had. He traded those two things. Two meth heads came and drove them both away for an S10 Blazer. Straight trade.
Oh, listen, I had these guys bring me down a S10 Blazer to trade for a four-wheeler. And when it got there, I'm like, why is there an inch gap at the top of the doors? And it looks like the bottom of the doors is touching.
It must have been the same Blazer.
I'm like, it was white. It was a white Blazer. And the best part is these dudes drove it down to me with the other car they came with's tag on the back of it. And I was like, oh, this is
what? The other car didn't have tags on it? What was the win here?
No, the Blazer didn't have tags. So they took the front tag off the Blazer, off the car.
Duplicate tag.
And put it on. And then we drove together because
yeah,
exactly. Two cars with the same. These were some winners. And when I started noticing that, I look in the back and in the wheel well, you can see the frame is just pinched in the bottom where it had been rear-ended and the whole back of this car just went. Meh. And they were like, yeah, we'll trade you for your four-wheeler. And I'm like, you can take that back off the property. Thank you.
Yeah, you can forget the address here, my friend.
Yeah, I was just like, thanks for bringing it by, but this thing's totaled. Like, get
Thanks
wrecked.
for coming by.
We didn't notice. Hey.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
I just bought this thing. I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
That's the one I like. It's like, I just bought it. I didn't know a thing. I'm like, but you bought it. And that sounds like your problem.
Yeah, that is definitely your problem now. Jesus. All right, boys. Well, it's been 2.5 hours. We are doing our thing here. I really appreciate you guys coming through. Tonight was scuffed with a recovery on the side of the mountain.
And what was up with all
that? So I get into my chair here. I sit down. I go to put my headset on, and my phone goes off, and it's my brother, and he says,
Ranger danger?
Oh, this is Maria trying to tell me that CP wants to freaking get on the deal. So my brother hits me up and he says, hey, I need help. I took the girls for a ride and the general broke down. Not sure, but I think it's the belt. Need a ride out. I'm going to see if I can walk back. Can you come get me? And they're up in the snow. So I have no four-wheel drive because that's still broken on my rig. So I just hooked up the truck and trailer and took the rig. I had Gary hop in the rig and we rolled up. And then I tugged it down. I basically parked the rig where they're starting to log, so the road's nice. And we parked the rig there and then went up with mine the rest of the way in the deep snow. Had some fun getting it turned around because two-wheel drive in 2 feet of snow. It just needs a lot of wheel speed. You'll make it right through. I saw 45, 50 miles an hour a couple of times on like the speedo, and we weren't even moving. Like this thing is just singing on the RPMs, and she's just wiggling, and then she'd catch and run. But we made it.
Had him stand on the back. Give it a little more track.
No, so that's the best part. I only had 3 seats in. I didn't think about it. I get out of the truck to hop in with these guys because it's my brother and his buddy, and and then Gabe. And Dave's like, "Oh, there's no seat in the back." I was like, "Well, guess you're sitting on the floor." So he sat on the floor the rest of the way up to the other rig. But yeah, so that's on the trailer out there. It's, I guess, one of these days I'll have to figure out what's going on. He's like, "It's making bad noises." I was like, "Yeah, I bet it is, bud. You turn it off when you destroy a belt." Oh
Man,
yeah,
that's a weird noise.
just it doesn't sound good. And then we're trying to turn it around, and there's no room to turn around. There's guys trying to get up. There's a couple guys that live up there, and they can't get up there right now. The snow's been so bad, they've actually not been there for the last 3 or 4 days. So, like, one of the guys that was there was trying to get up and gave up with us, and then another guy was trying to come up as we were coming down, and he's like, "Bro, you're not making it." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna give it a try." I'm like, "Well, have fun." That's the problem with living up there in the middle of nowhere, is when this happens and you get snow, you could be up there for, I hope you got supplies.
So there's a place down in Burlington, Iowa. I went down there to install some direct TV, and it's literally like this single hill in the middle of a flat plain, but it's a steep little mound, and has a switchback. So it goes back and forth up this little thing to get to the top of this hill. And there's like 8 houses up there, little houses.
How are you, brother?
And I remember driving up there, Model S10. You're going up this thing, and you make these tight corners, and you go straight up this other one. You make a tight corner, and you go straight. And I looked at the guy, because when I got to his house, I said, "Do you only own a Prius?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How do you get home in the winter? Like, if there was any snow on that?" He said, "Would you see the guardrails at the end?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, in the winter, we just hook winches to those, and there's a winch on each level." And he said, "We just winch our vehicles up."
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. Could you imagine going home and just be like, "Get the winches. I got to make it up the switchback." It's just like, no. Don't live here. Like, what are you talking about?
This guy right here. Dudes, read this out loud.
Working on some shorts and need to get some long videos done as well.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
We need to have an intervention, CP, with Dudes here about his long form content or lack thereof.
I think. Well, honestly, I can't say. Hey, you're not doing good. I mean, you got a plaque.
He did, but he needs to do the long form. Oh yeah, he refuses. He refuses to open it.
Short form, so I think his long form days are over with.
Oh no, he has come to the realization of the scam that is short form, and knows that he now says that of his own volition that he needs to do long form. He's just still not doing it.
Well, so I've talked to a guy that knows another guy he's getting 12 million views a month on shorts, and I made him feel really bad when he was like bragging about how many views he got, and I was like, "Yeah, I got a video with 100,000 views last month." And
and the CPM between them,
one video that he made off his story in 1 month.
Yeah. Well, the CPM between them is, now that we can actually see that data, is wild too.
Yeah. It was. I knew it was full BS. I knew it was. It wasn't BS, but the thing about it is, dude puts a lot of time into the short. You're doing.
That's what I've told him too. If he could do shorts the way I do shorts, where it's a little bit of effort for a good bit of return, but you put so much into each short.
Yeah.
They're really good. I like them.
They are. They're amazing. But what he gets paid for what I think you put in, I don't think it's like the return on a long format for the amount of effort, I think, is more there than the shorts.
I don't know. I put a lot of effort into a long format. That's why I don't.
Did you guys?
That's true.
Did you guys get the? You guys get the survey today?
I got it a couple weeks ago.
Jesus, what survey?
115,000.
There was a survey, and I told them that I was unhappy and depressed.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
Oh, that survey. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I told them how depressed I was. How they shut all my shorts off a couple weeks ago, and now they.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like YouTube is doing you? They asked questions that were just 100% setting themselves up for failure. I was
dude, some of those questions were just like, well, do you get depressed when you look at the analytics? Well, yeah, because you change the fucking numbers whenever you want to.
They had the why do you feel this way, and you're supposed to fill it in. That's what I told him. I said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I can have a whole bunch of shorts that are all doing great, and then just on the exact same day they all die, every single one of them.
And then they're just like, "Well, that's just the wave." Like the one
Well,
dude went to the thing, and they're like, "Well, it seems like videos just go up and do it." And the YouTube person was like, "Oh yeah, we call that the wave."
Yeah, I'm going to
Like,
disagree.
Jason, how are you doing,
So
brother?
here's the fun thing. Here's the analytic that doesn't make any sense. My views were actually down today, but I just showed you my subs.
Oh yeah.
You knew where I was at yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So your subs are up.
He just hit 15K yesterday.
Yeah.
115K.
Yeah,
So
so
we're up
200,
almost
300
300
in a day.
So you've
Corey,
had
what is up?
so you've had 15,000 since the first year. You actually hit 100K at the first year, right?
Yeah, it was in December.
So you got
so
15K in
yeah.
month and two and a half months.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you're still not getting anything like.
Well, total views is down for him. I actually had some
massive.
How many views a
videos
month
hit
are you
today.
getting, dude? Just out of curiosity.
Not enough to stay monetized.
2.8. So not even enough to say monetized. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to one guy, and so like I said, he's getting 12 million views, and like that's a good amount of
So,
views for
If you
sure.
don't mind me asking, if he's at 12 million views, what's he at for subs?
He has over 100,000,
Okay.
but it's 12 million views he's getting on shorts. But they pay his what he told me what he was making was like $500, and I was like,
And
and
that's what I'm making.
he posts like two or three times a day, and
And see, that's where it doesn't make any sense because I'm making the same money for.
well, there was a little more. It was actually closer to 900. I'll be honest. I think he said that he was actually making 1,090.
Okay.
That was what his.
You could also be doing. You're not doing the 15-second shorts though, dudes. So maybe he's doing 15-second shorts.
Well, I don't
I'm
know if
running
that
pretty
necessarily
short.
matters, though. The length of the shorts, I don't think has a whole lot to do for how much they're paying.
There's no, the length of shorts technically doesn't, but I definitely beg to differ on that because he's doing 17 to 30-second shorts.
So here's the thing: there is no data for. I've had ones take off and die. I've had ones long, like slow roll. I've had one do 300,000 views in an hour and then just be the deadest thing. So it's really weird.
And this is like what I've said Wasted here. If I could just get a long format video to hit for 20K, I would walk away happy with that number.
Yeah,
He claims I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be more than happy.
If you got if you got a couple with 10K, you would actually see where that difference makes a bigger impact.
But that's the hole you fall in. You know, you're in this shorts feed and you're over here getting 2.8 million views a month and you're getting 300 subscribers a day, but you can't get 300 of those people in a month to go watch
Go out, and this boils back down to what we've always talked about. It goes down to if YouTube doesn't show your stuff to anyone, no one will ever watch your stuff.
So there's also another thing. There's another factor. Remember last week that I touched on this about being globally challenged. So
yeah.
Okay, so I actually talked to somebody who's in a part of YouTube, and they explained to me. I said, so I was talking about. They were giving me good feedback, so I was going with the conversation.
Yeah.
So the short feed globally works really well because most of the people that are watching the YouTube video now, keep in mind, most of us here always think about American, right?
I don't. After the little dozer, all of my success with the little dozer came from overseas. I had all the analytics to show it. Dudes and I talked about it. Everything my channel did was I had an overseas, real popular in India, actually. Turns out.
But just keep this in mind: none of those people can speak English. So if you're short,
that's why mine worked so well. There was no talking any of mine. It was just dozers pushing things around, trees falling. There was things that didn't need translation.
Yeah, so a lot of these people in these third world countries that are watching YouTube have no clue how to operate YouTube. They just watch the videos blindly. And so if
swiping up, that's shorts are so easy for
but
that.
they subscribe to the channels when they see something. So like dudes' old cars. They see the old cars, and they just like to look at the old cars when he's talking about them and whatnot.
Yeah.
And not only that, the other thing is people ask for likes and ask for subscribe. And if you see that
I
matrix
haven't
where
I
you
haven't
have
seen any of that in the shorts side of things.
I see it all the time. Some of the
Do
big
you?
shorts people, they always say, "Follow me, subscribe to me." It's a big thing at the end of every one of their videos.
But
The worst part is those guys get higher views and have a lot more subs than I do, and it's like, I think about it every once in a while, and I go, nah, I'm not that guy.
yeah,
You,
but
you
not
guys
only
want to hear
that,
something crazy? I got a crazy stat for you. So my Elvis video, the one that I've got just a crap ton of subscribers off of, I'm looking at the analytics on that right now, and so this is a short. Do you know that the people watching it, 39% of them, and this is the highest of the highest grouping, 65 years old plus
Oh
watching
yeah,
this one
that's the majority of
oh yeah.
mine.
on a
Yeah,
short.
they're searching Elvis.
Yeah,
Well,
but it's still it's a
Well,
short
those
though,
are.
not a. This is a
Oh, who's
like
searching shorts?
460,000 views, and 39% of them are over 65 years old, and
uh,
it is
Yeah.
34% U.S. and then 18% from Brazil.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
I have 6,000 long format views in the last 28 days.
6,000 views from long format is not. That's not bad. I don't
That's
think.
terrible.
Shit's better than what I'm doing over
But
here.
I did realize I have not put up a long format video in 5 months now.
I've been telling you.
that might be
okay.
part of it.
So let me tell you about that. So the whole point I'm getting at is 50% of your subscribers probably don't even speak English or understand English.
Oh yeah.
So any of the likes or subscribes or whatnot that they're non-subscribers watching their videos, they have no idea what they're doing. Second of all, the other
Yeah.
thing is there's a little hack, and I implore anybody to use it. Because once again, this is insider information. So YouTube is trying to do closed captioning in all languages, right?
Yep.
But the problem is getting it to translate, and their system is not working that well. But
But
however, however, if you add context to your video, like words to your videos, it will translate it better because the AI reads the words and can translate it better than their
Is that why
voice.
everybody's doing that?
Yes,
that would
that's
that would
exactly
make
why
a little
everybody's doing
sense.
that. It's exactly why everybody's doing that. So that's a little hack that was what I learned
All
from
right,
the YouTube.
Jared. You have a good night, brother. I appreciate you hanging in all night. This dude was here waiting too, so I appreciate it, Jared.
Oh yeah.
I think
I
we are
got
going to end up and wrap her up here, though, boys. It's been 2.5, almost 3 hours, and I know we're keeping it going here. So I appreciate everyone in the chat. We are going to wrap her up for the evening. If you guys have not, CB the Tool Addict, you got to get up there and go check out some of his stuff. I mean, I feel like everyone here is, but if you're not, make sure you get over there. And Midnight Road, go check his stuff out. Seriously, guys. If you haven't been over there, you're doing it wrong. You got to get over there. If you're here, well, you already know about me. And if you're subscribed to Dudes with Wrenches, unsubscribe. He doesn't need your subscriptions. As always, everyone have a good night. We'll see you next time.